It's the Anthony Cumia Show. 77 WABC.
Well, good evening, everybody. WABC Radio exclusive content right here from me, Anthony Cumia, on the Anthony Cumia Show. Stick around, of course, my guest, Jim Norton, in mere minutes. But quickly, I'd like to talk to you about Rosie O'Donnell. She usually comes up as a mental patient of the day. She's obviously emotionally disturbed, a terrible parent. We've seen what she does to these adopted kids she gets. One of them, I believe, is in jail at this point, addicted to God knows what. And when they're not cute anymore, I guess Rosie just lets them go, drives them upstate, lets them off out of her car, and then just drives home and hopes they never come back. She's got a 12-year-old daughter at this point, and she has moved to Ireland. But that's not even the story I want to talk about right now. I want to talk about, and I never knew this, her relationship with Lyle Menendez, the one half of the Menendez brothers, Lyle and Eric Menendez. Way back when, I guess in the 90s, 91, something like that. They murdered their parents. I guess their defense was that they had been molested by their father, so they had to kill him. And then the mother didn't do anything during the molestation, so they had to murder her. And I don't think the court or the jury was buying their story, and they were sentenced to life in prison. So Rosie O'Donnell was doing a Larry King show back in 96, I guess it was. And she was talking about the Menendez trial and how they had claimed child abuse and molestation. And of course, she has to go because it's all about me. You know, Rosie is an about me, narcissistic, mental patient. So she starts with, I was molested too, and I think they acted in self-defense. So wind of this gets back to Lyle Menendez in prison, and he writes Rosie a letter. Imagine you like that's your pen pal, Rosie O'Donnell. Because I think girls looked at them as handsome guys when they were going through the trial and everything. Like, oh, the Menendez brothers. Yeah, they're handsome. I think one had a wig on the whole time. Yeah, big wig. And then he couldn't wear it in prison, so he looked ridiculous. But, yeah, Lyle kind of sparked up this pen pal relationship with Rosie O'Donnell. And she went and visited him. They've spoken. One thing she said that is odd because, you know, she is a lesbian. She said that he was one of the first men, straight men, that she ever trusted and loved. This is mental. You hear about women like this. They write to prisoners. They fall in love with them. And, you know, they if you're in prison for murder, I think you're pretty, you're able to manipulate people. You know, you're trying to get them to do anything for you. You don't have much to do in prison. You're always on some angle to try to get out. And I guess they thought, especially back in the mid 90s, that Rosie would have been a good vehicle for that. A giant vehicle. So they've been talking, and here's the thing that put Rosie over. This is how simple she is. Lyle talked to O'Donnell about getting a dog for her son Clay through a prison program he was involved in. Now, I don't even know what this is. Like, again, her son had some kind of mental issues. She has an addicted daughter that's in jail. She has this son that has mental issues and a 12-year-old that God only knows what the future is for that girl. She dragged her over to Ireland because she's got Trump derangement syndrome, which she's mental for that. I mean, she thinks, we'll talk about it a little later in the show with Jimmy, but she's got this idea that through Trump and his cabinet and administration that people don't have rights. She thinks that people have been, their rights have been violated under Trump. It's like, what? What rights? Oh, you mean the special treatment some groups were getting? Oh, that. So she's not coming. I'm not coming back until they give everybody the rights. It's in the Constitution. They have their rights as Americans. So lighten up. Lighten up, Francis. So Lyle Menendez said to Rosie, hey, get your kid a dog. That's brilliant. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard. And because she's such a simpleton and easily manipulated by a murderer, she fell in love with the guy. And they've had this relationship ever since. But women that get into relationships with men in prison are nuts. They are nuts. And Rosie's no different. She's been nuts for quite a while. There's been a lot of examples of why she's crazy, but I never knew about this one. And it fits in perfectly that she is absolutely bat crap, as I can say here. Yeah, stick around. We'll be right back with the Anthony Cumia Show. It is the Anthony Cumia Show. It is Sunday night. I am actually here live in New York City. I'm beside myself, I think they call that. Beside myself that this is actually happening. I'm doing broadcast radio. I'm in New York City. And I have one of my favorite people here as a guest tonight.
I thought he died in 1945.
Yes, the inimitable voice of my guest for the entire show. I took the segment thing and threw it away because my guest will be here. Comedian extraordinaire, actor mediocre, and a good friend of mine, Jim Norton. Jimmy.
Delighted.
I am, like I said, I'm stunned that this is even a thing.
It is crazy. We're on radio in New York again and looking out the window at car. Like, it's so bizarre to be on regular radio in New York.
It is. And I was thinking about that. The last time this happened was K-Rock. I think that was the last time we were on broadcast radio together. We would do K-Rock in the morning and then do the walkover to XM satellite radio. And that was many, many years ago.
I remember that you had to put the shopping cart had to be pushed and all the equipment. It was such a nightmare.
Oh, it had like some kind of archaic satellite system in it. And, you know, yes, Steve would, push it. And you would buy inappropriate magazines from the magazine stands.
That's right.
And
something inches. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun, but it was inconvenient. It kind of, broke the show up a little bit. Some days were great.
Yes.
Some were like, oh my God, get us over to the studio. But Rich Voss used to stop at some of the restaurants along the way and do impromptu, spontaneous stand-up for people that, it was early in the morning. They're just trying to get their bagel and coffee. And they're like, sir, what are you eating there, sir?
And the last thing they wanted was just to be teased by an abrasive man.
Yes.
He's just so abrasive. Even when people like him, they don't really like him because he's just abrasive.
No.
So if you're minding your business, having your coffee in the morning, that's the last thing you want. My voice is a little scratchy. You can tell, a little cold.
Oh, what was hitting the back of it? There he goes. Oh, boy.
Not what you think.
Just, dab it in a little NyQuil and shove it back there and see how you do.
Yeah.
Also,
I'm a little clogged.
Like that. Also, E-Rock is sitting in just to watch, but I have to acknowledge that he's here. E-Rock's been such a part of our satellite radio thing over the course of the years. And then he was working with me over at Compound Media for almost a decade. So, E-Rock, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm here because I didn't think you'd have enough to make fun of for 3 hours. So I figured I might as well come in. And,
as fodder.
Yes.
Fodder.
I'm trying to put up a
fodder for a feeder.
Fodder and fodder every day.
It's so mean, I know.
Hold on a second. I'm trying to put up a little post.
Oh, you're posting on social media?
I really am an old man at this point. I got my glasses on. I'm hitting the wrong buttons. I'm panicking.
It's so hard to keep up with it. And you don't want to, if you make one mistake, you could be brilliant at posting in the internet. If you make one mistake in front of people, it's like, okay, boomer.
Yeah.
All right, boomer. It happened. I was doing a sales meeting here from my house, and it works every single time. And then I'm there on camera going, wait, they can't hear me. And it's just me pushing and trying to sign language the sponsor and the sales staff. And I'm like, wait, 1 minute. I got it. I'm just I look like a buffoon.
Plus the plus 24 font size on the phone doesn't help either.
Yeah, well, that's, but I got my crazy big glasses. These are my Chief Brody glasses from Jaws.
God, they are Chief Brody glasses. That's awesome.
It's
hope you have a quint ending.
Jimmy.
I know, it's so good.
It really is. It's been so long.
Yeah.
And like I said, I wasn't looking for a gig.
Sure.
And they in their infinite wisdom here, they decided to hire me because you were over at Sirius XM Satellite Radio with the Opie and Anthony show.
Yep.
And back in 2014, I guess it was, I got the boot.
It was July 4th weekend.
Yes.
We were off. I remember where I was when my ex Jen called me and told me that something happened.
What was her birth name?
Well, it's funny because that is that is who I was on a date with. Not Jen, but let's just say another young lady.
Oh, okay. Yes. Wow. It goes back that far.
God almighty. Not with Nikki. It was another girl, but yeah, this is before I met Nikki.
Okay. So yeah, it was, back then I remember because I had just also bought a brand new Jaguar. Because the money's just rolling in.
Nothing can stop us.
Da, 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 da. And I'm like, oh, God, what am I going to do? It was like, I talk about not having regrets, and it's easier when once you go through, especially years, to look back and go, well, I'm happy where I am now and what's going on. But at that moment, and you were through one of those also at NEW when we got fired for the Sex for Sam St. Pat's Cathedral debacle. Yep. And there's nothing worse than right when it happens. And our agent calls and goes, they're terminating you. You're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Did I screw this up? Am I going to be back on a ladder in a rooftop, putting in air conditioning and heating? It was frightening.
Yes.
And then you do realize, and it's kind of comforting that, in a few years, it takes that long sometimes, you realize like, oh, I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for that. And I always look at it like I'd have been fired 15 more times after that. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter, but it was, that was some stressful times.
It is losing a gig. I remember when it happened at NEW. It's terrifying. Yeah. Because you're like, I'm never going to make the money again. I'm never going to make this money. I have no future. There's nothing going to happen.
Well, you were right.
I was just going to say, I knew I was too long of a setup. I was just about to say, and I was right, but I handed it to you.
Thank you.
I handed it to you, and then I tied my shoes, and you put it where you should. But it's it's so bizarre when you lose a gig. Like you're like nothing is ever gonna come around again. And even now, I'm not with Sirius. I'm not. It wasn't a firing. It was just it was kind of the way they did it. But when you get that call, like we're not gonna renew, I was like, all right. And it's funny, you miss knowing that the money's there.
Yes,
but it's nothing in my life has changed. Like nothing.
Yeah,
I've seen no change whatsoever.
But I don't know. Financial stability is a huge thing.
Yeah.
And having a steady check come in, you almost take it for granted after a while. And you don't realize that, well, I might not need that. And it gives you a little bit of power over your future. You can go on and do what you want to do.
I wanted to go away every single weekend and work, and I wanted my wife to hook at a bus station. So we're both kind of doing what we need to do to pay the bills. That's what she was meant to do. Hook at a bus station.
That's terrible. But like E-Rock has been the rat of XM satellite radio, Sirius XM. He tells me everything going on. And it's great because they just are making terrible decisions as far as talent goes and the whole thing of getting a celebrity with a name just stick with you.
Absolutely. A nothing that will help you. Not at all. I'm trying to say it without cursing.
It is a little tough.
It certainly is challenging. What else starts with C?
Yeah, but that's what I've noticed over the course of the years is like when we went there, it was such a change from radio, especially XM more than Sirius. But it was like this big change, and they were all about not doing what radio does. And now
XM was.
Yeah, XM was, not Sirius
not
XM.
Sirius, yeah.
And it's so weird that technology went from having to put a satellite up orbiting the goddamn planet.
Yeah.
And now you just pick your phone up and I could listen to Spotify and make my own playlist and things like that. But the only real commodity left is personality driven. They can't just make that out of thin air and put it on. So they try. Yeah.
They try.
Yeah. Well, they hire these celebrities, big names.
Sure.
And they give them hundreds of millions of dollars and they don't bring anybody in
because they're not really that interesting. Like most of them are very guarded. Like they haven't had to make a living talking about their personal life on slow news days.
Right.
Like the most garbage comes out like when nothing's going on in August and then all of a sudden like, oh, I like women who have penises. It just kind of spills out. It spills out. It spills out when there's a slow news day.
On your back. It's...
Never changes.
Never.
Nothing changes.
Never changes.
But that's when the stuff comes out, and celebrities are not used to that. They're not used to these slow news days where they have to like fill it with their own personal
They're
life.
Very guarded.
Yeah.
And there were those days. I mean, the one refreshing thing about it is you really don't have any secrets. That anyone could use against you. Not like, they're trying. But those slow news days when you're looking going, I'm going to have to delve back to my teens on this one.
Yeah.
Boy, that's going to be ugly.
Oh my God. There's like the New York Post, like the headline was sunshine today. And I'm like, oh, well, we're going under the porch, aren't we? It's going to be a long day.
Yeah, you start talking about yourself. And I think celebrities that get these big paying gigs in broadcasting these days, they don't have that in them. They could get their buddies and they'll get a little traction. What's the name of that show with all those guys? There's like 4 of them, celebrities, the guys.
Sopranos.
No.
Was it a podcast?
No, yeah, it was a podcast.
Is it with Will Arnett?
Yes, Will Arnett.
Yeah,
those guys. Yeah.
Smartless. And who else? Jason Bateman?
Those guys are huge. The guy from Will and Grace.
I mean, they're funny. They've been through a lot of stuff. They got Hollywood stories, but I don't think they're broadcasters. I don't think they have the ability to just talk about stuff that is kind of embarrassing.
Sure.
And, the ability to convey an entertaining story as a relatable person. I don't know.
Yeah, they're probably just telling story. Like most times when they interview those people, and not Will Arnett because he's funny, but like when they interview like an actor, and they say, "How was the movie shoot?" They're like, "Oh, it was so much fun on the set." They give you nothing, and you're like, "That's not interesting."
It's those satellite tour answers.
Yeah,
they're sitting there talking to Access Hollywood or something.
Oh, and it was the same story they've told 50 times to 50 different people. So, yeah, I would feel stupid doing that, like saying the same thing over and over on one day. You're sitting in a studio doing that, but that's like their gig.
It certainly is.
And podcasting too. I don't even think of that as broadcasting per se. It just seems like it's a whole different animal.
It is, and the one I started one right after because I was allowed to because there was no radio.
Yeah. You got a no compete?
Yes, I do. No, I'm kidding. I'm saying that they did during the thing. They wouldn't let me do my podcast. So like once it's over, you can do what you want.
They tried pulling that on me.
Really?
Yeah, I told them to go F themselves, and then they fired me.
Oh.
Yeah, I was doing the compound thing from the basement, and they had a problem with it. And then I went in and it's nothing like the radio show.
Right.
This is, again, bring up 1945. It was just fun. It was a fun thing, the hobby that I was doing in the basement. But
do you remember we were trying to figure out, like on snow days and stuff, he could do the show from there, so he doesn't have to come in. And that was like how they couldn't even fathom that.
Yeah.
Now they don't even want you in their studios.
No, they don't want anyone there anymore because then they could go, well, you're not even using our studio, so we could pay you less. That's what they do.
I take calls on my thing now. Like, it's an advice show, but I honestly like the live interaction with people. Like, I like listeners talk, even though sometimes they suck and they're idiots, but I do like when they take you into a weird direction that you never would have thought to go in. Yes. Because it's just, they're talking about something in their life that wouldn't have been on my mind.
That's what this is kind of a new thing or an old thing that's new again is, phone calls.
Yeah.
Because when you have a subscriber based show like I had for many years and still do, you're not going to get calls from people they pay to listen to you.
Sure.
You're not getting the errant call or the person that doesn't like you.
Yeah.
You know, how long at NEW did we have to take calls in here? Play the music.
Yeah.
You suck. Get the lead out. You guys are going to be gone in a month. All that stuff that we heard over the course of the years. And I kind of like that. You could, get back at them. It's like a little bit of abrasion between the caller and you. So having calls, and we will take calls. And by the way, I do want to say that you do have a show. It's Jim Norton Can't Save You.
Yeah.
And you have celebrities on, comics, stars of stage and screen.
I've had, Neil deGrasse Tyson is this Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
He's a great guest.
Yeah.
We had George Santos in, who was one of my favorites, from Long Island. George, he was hilarious. It's been a very interesting mix. Mark Norman was great. You were great.
From
Tim Dillon.
Yeah, from what the hell was that Broadway show that he did, and then it was a movie with De Niro.
Oh, Chaz Palminteri.
Yeah, Chaz Palminteri. We'll talk about more of your show, and we'll take calls, and we'll see if people want to call up with their issues, and we'll do a little.
Hold on, I have a long story I want to start.
We'll be right back. Anthony Cumia Show.
This is the Anthony Cumia Show.
We're back, Anthony Cumia Show. A great Sunday night because my good friend Jim Norton is here.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about what you're doing now. You got Jim Norton Can't Save You.
Yeah.
And I was on it.
It was great.
I had a great time with you. And it's a little strange in that you do actually give people sound, or at least, as sound as you can.
The best I can do. We all know my limits.
Yeah. But most people would think like every single call is going to be a joke or, you got to crap on the guy or something. But you've heard some people with some real issues and they feel compelled to call you for some
I don't know why. Because I think I'm the relative comparison, like where they know that I can't judge them because I'm also a mess.
That is
I'm
true.
a disaster.
Yeah. I guess people in therapy, they look at a therapist or a psychologist or what have you, and they got to be like, the person actually went to school, got a degree, so how could they possibly relate to me?
Yeah.
And then, a piece of garbage like you.
100%.
Or me.
They know.
I get it.
You and I have both scraped the bottom of the barrel with our teeth. We get it. Two garbage people.
And so have you had so far, because you've done a few shows now, have you had somebody that you got on the line and was like, oh boy, maybe this is out of my league, I need to refer him to?
No. I mean, once you get past a few, I think I want to commit suicide. And that's just my wife.
Well, she's already hung. Oh, you okay, Grandpa?
Yeah.
You're like Don Corleone in the tomato patch. You're spilling it. Stop.
I have that thing in my like it's not that bad of a cold, but I feel like if I laugh too hard, I'm gonna cough a lot. That was funny. That made me laugh.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury had that too.
Yeah, he certainly did. But at least he had fun getting it.
Yeah.
I just talked to a comic at the cellar.
Oh, apparently, yeah, Freddie Mercury. There's a picture of him in bed with 5-10 guys. And everybody, whenever you see Freddie Mercury, because there's a lot of documentaries and stuff about him, and you're looking, you just go like, oh, that must have been where it happened.
Here's my impression of every guy who was ever with Freddie Mercury. Less teeth. Giant teeth.
He certainly did. Got the yellow and black lines painted on his lips like a hopper and a wood chipper. Please steer clear. Oh my God. Yeah, this is a quick one. Yeah, so you got that going. Where can people get that?
Just on YouTube.
It's YouTube,
Jim
right?
Norton Comedy, or go on to Apple Pods, wherever you're going to get your stuff.
It's fun. Who'd you have there too? Mark Norman.
Mark is great.
Isn't he funny, man?
Kim Congdon is this week, and she's brutal, and in a good way, in a very funny way. I went down to Austin and taped a few guys. They've all been fun. I really love doing it. I love it.
I always, I don't know. I kind of have a problem with girls that have had
puberty.
Yeah. I might as well just say that.
Sorry for
quick
coughing.
Break right here. No problem, my Jimmy. And we'll be right back after these words.
Whipping out free speech. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
I love it. Anthony Cumia Show on a wonderful Sunday evening in New York City. I came here Thursday afternoon, and the first thing I was greeted with was a news story about the wonderful subway system and what goes on in it. Do you got that clip? Can we play the news clip about the guy on the subway? If you have it available. Cool. No? Yeah. Huh?
Say this man performed sex acts on another man who died on an R train. NYPD officers responded to reports of a body on that train at the Whitehall subway station just after midnight. That was yesterday. When officers looked at video from subway cameras, our police sources say they found the man in the yellow hoodie there sexually abusing the corpse, stopping only when passengers entered or exited the train. Police say that man had been dead for several hours before that vile attack.
I mean, I honestly back the guy who did it. That, to me, he had the courtesy to stop when people got on and off the train. He wasn't bothering anyone alive.
Isn't that I find that the most horrifying part of the story is that if it was a nut, that it's a plain nut, he'd have been having sex with a corpse, and then people come in. Who cares? I'm crazy enough to have sex with a corpse. I'm not going to care who watches. Right. But he cared. Like, he knew it wasn't right.
He was responsible. He wanted privacy.
That's great. He wanted privacy.
He knew he was being a bad boy.
But I'm like, naughty. He was
being very fresh.
How the hell does New York get to that point? And I mean, we've all been through. We harken back to the old days of the 80s and 90s in New York City. The subways, it was just pandemonium. And I don't ever remember hearing a story like that. It was muggings. It was, Bernie Getz, the subway gunman, had to pull out a gun, and a crime, the mafia. They were making hits all over the place. I can't recall a man having sex with a corpse on the MTA.
Well, let me ask you. There's a lot to the story I want to know. Did he die before they started, or had they started and then he had a heart attack and the guy's like, your obligation is until the end. We're going to do this until I'm done. And these people keep getting on and off. And this is my last time with you.
I do like how you're trying to justify it.
100%.
Maybe.
Yeah, why not? Once you die, let people do what they want to your corpse.
If
cares.
If he was dead for a couple of hours already, I can't imagine the guy going at it for a couple of hours like that. So I would assume he walked in, a guy was dead because he robbed him too. That came out later in the story. Oh. He robbed the guy. And by the way, other people had robbed him previously. So this dead guy, it just shows I am so glad I got out of this goddamn.
So other people robbed him. But then he's like, let me see if they did this. And he slid his pants down. And he's like, I'm getting the first crack at this.
Ooh, a virgin. Yeah, it really is one of those twisted things that just, it can only happen in a city that has gone so far down the toilet.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yes, Sodom and Gomorrah. It's, and people will say, you walk around, the odds that something's going to happen is pretty slim, but it does happen.
It does, yeah.
There's a lot of shenanigans, if I may language.
Sure, yeah. They can dump that if they have to.
Yeah, yeah. And you live here. You got a great place.
Thank you.
And I just wonder if you ever considered leaving New York. I know it's very important to your work.
Yeah.
But did you ever consider?
Not really, no. I could probably get a nice house if I wanted one in Jersey or whatever, but I would miss being here. Like, I love being here. And sometimes my wife will go, I want to get a house. I'm like, no, you don't.
Oh, geez.
You would hate it. She'd be so panicky about
homemaker.
She's not a homemaker. She'll put on like a microwavable dinner and then go on her computer for 8 hours. It's like, that's not a trad wife.
Is that like, because I watch your show and I see clips that are posted on Instagram about you and Nikki, and it seems like there's a lot of like shopping that goes on.
Yes.
You get a lot of Amazon boxes.
It's insane. Like, if I go home and there's no boxes, I'm like, oh, my wife must have died. Like, she's probably dead upstairs. Maybe I'll drop her off on the subway.
Well, you also expect no box. Right. But no, because same thing. I come home and there's just boxes at the door, and down in South Carolina, you burn, the boxes along with the crosses, but they got a fire pit and just burn them. I don't wrap them up and save them for the garbage man. And it is an inferno because there are so many boxes, and 1% of it is me.
Yeah, and what she does and why she's such a sneak is she has an account and I have an account, but she knows that my accountant checks her credit card.
That's good. That's good.
It is
keep an eye.
It is good.
Yeah.
Until she figured out how to order off mine. So I see all these things that are Jim Norton, but they're lip liners. And then I'm like, it's just, she's doing it like to beat the system. So my credit card goes higher, but she's like, look, I only spent $1,000.
These are Maxim condoms. They're not mine. They're Magnums. Maxim. Suck. They suck. Ugh. What's wrong with me? Maxim. Yeah, magazine covers.
Oh, Uncle Anthony. Those are
what are those? The Maxims?
The Maxim sizes.
Screwed that up.
That's all right. It happens.
Stink.
No, I know, but it's an unfixable.
Oh,
because I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter. There's just no way to fix that in post.
It was years ago when we were doing the O&A show, and before you came on board, screwing up or bombing was a nightmare. It was something that we would just not want to acknowledge. You look down, you plow ahead, and the face you would make. And I still watch videos to this day when all the comics are in, and DePaulo and Voss and Patrice and Colin, and someone would bomb. They'd say something that was not funny, and you got this look of joy on your face.
Yeah.
Like smiling, nodding your head, looking at him going, yeah, that tanked.
There's something so satisfying about it. Like, I truly do love unfunny things sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I 2 sets last night I had. Neither were particularly good. I didn't bomb on purpose, but it just wasn't going well.
Right.
And I was just really enjoying it. Like, this is not going great. I'm trying this stuff out.
That's weird. I would understand if you're watching someone doing that, but you yourself are kind of chuckling that you aren't going over well.
I told the audience, like, this one's my fault. I'm like, you're a nice crowd. I really have let you down. And I meant it. I wasn't angry at them. I was just kind of being a little self-indulgent, and I couldn't find anything funny. So I just told them, like, I know this sucks.
You've shown some masochistic traits over the years.
Sure. Tonight.
Yeah. Doing this show. Yeah, it's but I never thought, like, if you're up on stage, because anyone would imagine if you're up on stage, especially as a comic, you just want to kill. You want to do great. And I'm sure you want to, but you don't. Like, that doesn't terrify you if you're bombed.
No, I mean, I started the set with the best of intentions, and it just wasn't going where I wanted it to. And then you kind of embrace it and go, all right, let's see if I can just try this or try that, or just kind of enjoy this weird moment that I'm having and acknowledge it. You make something out of it. I didn't take the set. It wasn't going well, but I couldn't figure it out.
Some comics like Big J Ogerson is so good at crowd work.
He's great at it, yeah.
And anytime I watch you, it seems like you only do crowd work when something happens that dictates you need to talk to.
Or if I'm in the mood,
crowd, or in the mood,
Yeah, I'm usually not in the mood. Like, I feel so much better if I get a laugh doing something I want to do. Not that I hate crowd work. I don't hate it, but I just like,
a cup of tea.
Yeah. I don't love it.
Yeah.
But, it's not that, it's not that hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do enjoy it sometimes.
Some people are so good at it.
Jay is great. Like
it's
he's
like
the boss,
so
is great.
fast, and you don't want to sit there and have to look at them and think of something.
Yeah.
You just look like a dolt.
Voss is, I'd say Voss.
He's a dolt.
He's a dolt, and yet the fastest at crowd work.
He is really good.
Because he can be mean so quickly.
But now him sitting in a chair on stage, he saw one of the legs off.
I honestly, I don't blame you because it is angering. But he's been doing that for years. Like Voss goes through phases, like where he'll sit, where he'll stand. It's the same height either way, which is kind of odd. But he's gone through that thing where he would just sit.
Yeah.
And he went through that for a long time, and then he stopped and then he started again.
Yeah, I'm not quite. I don't like the sitting thing. It's kind of Bill Cosby,
Sure, there's other things about him you love.
I'm not going to say he wasn't a whip getting girls, but the UFC thing. I know you're a huge UFC fan. Some of the greatest segments were when we have UFC guests on the O&A show, and they would do moves on you.
Yes.
They would put you in various holds and locks and choke holds, and you would tap out and make horrific noises like you were dying.
Getting choked, yeah. Kicked.
Again, a little masochistic.
Yeah.
But you're a fan, and UFC last night in Miami.
It was great.
And Trump showed up.
Yep.
And it was, again, like this guy shows up at these predominantly blue collar events, and people love this guy. Can't get enough.
He makes, and they played music for his, I think it was American Badass by Kid Rock.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think Rogan or one of those guys pointed out he's the only guy who's not a fighter who walks in with an entrance and music.
Entrance music and a posse.
Very funny.
And yeah, he goes up, he gave Rogan a big hug, and, and they have a little chit chat. Rogan's so funny because he calls, he goes, "Yes, sir. Thank you, sir."
Yeah.
And it's like, oh God, this was, before he was president in the first place, back before 2016, you would just be like, "Hey, there's Trump." And then all of a sudden it's Sir, Mr. President.
Me and Louis took me to a fight years ago. It was a Gennady Golovkin fight at Madison Square Garden. And we sat, it was like 2015. It was like when it was rumors that he was going to run.
Right.
And Trump was right in front of us. And we sat, like a row behind Trump and a few seats over. And so I was like, "Oh, it's Trump." And I was just yelling to him as Chip.
Oh, no.
I wasn't yelling at him. I'm like, "Mr. Trump." I was just screaming. I got a picture of Chip.
The Apprentice, put me on the show.
That was it. Yeah. Dude, one time I was walking out. He was in my building because Don Jr. lived above me for 10 years.
Don Trump Jr.?
Don Trump Jr.
Thank you.
DJ TJR. Was, and I walked in the lobby and Trump was in there with Don. They were talking to somebody. And I was going to stop and say hello. But it was, this is way before he ran. But I was like late for a spot. And I was like, I just saw Trump and I left. I didn't stick around and say hello. I'm like, I had no idea it was going to be the president of the United States.
No one did. Because he used to call us a couple of times, or we would call him or what have you. And, it was Trump, and he was hilariously funny. He was plugging The Apprentice. And then I think one time it was alluded to that Trump had called our show instead of us calling him. And he's like, he got mad. He got really mad. Like, "No, I didn't call. You called me. Make sure people know that. You guys are slobs." He called us slobs.
Yes. So he's definitely perceptive.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
And later when he called Rosie O'Donnell a slob.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, he knows the definition.
He certainly does.
At the very least. But, he came in and just a hero's welcome. And then you get Bernie Sanders was at Coachella, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This guy, he's ancient in anywhere he goes. He's the oldest guy in the room.
Yeah.
And, trying to get young voters. Trump has made the traditional political thing, shaking hands and kissing babies. It's ridiculous now. It looks phony because it is phony.
It looks stupid.
And they don't have another play in their book. It's all they have. So they keep doing it. And we just look and go, oh, really? Bernie is going to Coachella?
And I watched a moment of his speech and he was standing up there and look, he's like, I'm going to keep it brief. And he goes, the future of this country is your generation. And they cheer. And it's like all of that, like the exclamation point cheer or the almost like the applause button lights up.
Yeah.
It's sickening.
They have moments that they know it's like, this is where the applause goes in. I'm going to say stuff. And then they contradict stuff they said. Maybe back in, the olden days, you'd have to go to a library and go to the periodicals and, he said that. That's the opposite of what he just said today. Now you could just pop it up on your phone and see them completely contradict themselves in HD video.
Well, years ago, the two things you didn't have working hand in hand, autism and Twitter. And somebody will find all those clips and put them right
true,
up.
Man.
Oh, man.
It's been like, oof. Not a good thing for humanity.
Or for like politicians, they'll catch all these guys saying these things and put thing. Remember when he said this, and then they show all of them saying that, and that didn't exist years ago.
Years ago, I'm going to the microfiche, and I'll find what he said 20 years ago. Now it's all out there. But I want you to listen to Bernie here at Coachella, man, and it just sounds so phony and typical politician, and he's talking to a group of people that they don't care.
They don't care.
Just want their molly to kick in.
That's why you had to say, I'll keep it brief.
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. Let's listen.
This country faces some very difficult challenges.
Does it?
And the future of what happens to America is dependent upon your generation.
It's 1969.
Now you can turn away and you can ignore what goes on, but if you do that, you do it at your own peril. We need you to stand up to fight for justice.
Oh, shut up. First of all, you can't turn away and ignore
Fight
it.
for economic justice.
Oh, all kinds of different justice.
Social justice. And racial justice. Now we got a president of the United States who...
Do they not like Trump at Coachella?
We'll figure it out.
I'm shocked.
He thinks that climate change is a hoax.
It is.
He is dangerously wrong. And you and I are going to have to stand up to the fossil fuel industry and tell them to stop destroying this planet.
As they burn Teslas, as the same people burn the most successful electric vehicle company, which is what they were saying, you don't want fossil fuel. We got to come up with something. So you get these Elon Musk and Tesla, and what are they? They don't know what they're talking about. They always seem like they're mentally ill. And
they're carving swastikas on, which, a lot of us had to pay to have done. Can't believe Kanye ran out of shirts before I got one. It's look, I don't even dislike Bernie. I just, he's a bit of a relic.
He just isn't a guy that seems to get passion. Like, people don't seem passionate about his message or him. He'll get people at Coachella to cheer, but if he thinks he's going to change anyone's mind on anything in this country, it's
he had his shot and he blew it. He blew it. Like a couple years ago when they screwed Hillary and the Democrats screwed him. Yep. And I think that's a lot of those people went and voted for Trump. And
yeah. And then you see something like Trump at UFC and it's a hero's welcome. It's badass. And for how much people want to go like, oh, really? Is this the president you want? Apparently people like a strong guy. They want to see, it's like a movie. This guy's like a movie president.
I was at UFC when he was there once. It was when we interviewed him like a year and a half ago. And he wasn't the nominee at this point, but he still had, 8 Secret Service, 12 Secret Service guys. And we were sitting in the row behind him at UFC. And to see the Secret Service interacting, 'cause there's so many people that want to walk up to him. And there was this one agent that literally it was like a robot. He just stared at Trump for the entire 4 hours. Didn't take his eyes off him. These guys are really good.
You don't want to be the one that loses the president.
No, and they they really are. Their presence is felt. I mean, they close it after we talk to him, and he leaves the room. they lock the door and they go, okay, we're going to take him out, but you guys have to stay in the room until we take, like, it doesn't matter that you just talked to him.
Wow.
The door is now closed.
Right.
You no longer have access. Stay in the room like every other schmuck on this floor.
Right.
It's, they just really know what they're doing.
Yeah. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back with my good friend, Jim Norton.
And E-Rock.
Wherever he went.
Allegedly.
Eating the pizza that
kitchen.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Anthony Cumia Show. Wonderful show today because my good friend Jim Norton is here.
You have to reset, so I don't mind it, but I actually do it sometimes on my podcast. That's what a hack I am. Like, it's like on the radio, people tune in randomly.
Right, yes.
But I'm doing a podcast, and I'm like, hey, call up if you want. You're talking to Jim Norton or whatever. And I'm like, they know who they're talking to.
No, it is, there's a big difference between podcasting and radio. And I've been doing podcasting for so long, I kind of forget. Like, I just yap for an hour and a half on my show.
Yeah.
I don't care, like, where the breaks go or anything. And now you got, a room full of people looking at you, breaking things. Break! It's time for a break.
Oh, yeah, the break thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Where is E-Rock, by the way? He just disappeared. I don't like it.
He disappeared after we were asked if we want pizza.
You think he's waiting by the elevator with a feed bag under his mouth,
sitting pretty with his paws up.
I'll take this. He just tips it.
It's just open the box. It's just eating crust. No, he'd eat that too.
Yeah, of course.
Who am I trying to kid?
We'd be like, "Where's the box?" You'd see a little piece of box in his mouth. Well, actually, no, you wouldn't.
Oh, what's that?
I can't laugh too hard. It's crazy.
I know.
Did my voice sound terrible?
It sounds sultry and sexy. Oh, here he is.
No, you just looked there.
Thank you, Eric.
Oh, E-Rock.
That hurts.
Yeah, we were talking in the break about. I did a quick video about Gig Young.
Yeah,
and New York's an amazing place. There is so much history, and it's all different. You could do things on any topic and find landmarks or something. Like the New Yorker Hotel is where Tesla lived out the last years of his life. He was in his 80s and he was just alone in a room. This guy is responsible. Look around at every technology we use. Tesla was absolutely integral in making that. Edison ripped them off. Hoo-hoo, Robin. Edison ripped me off.
What year did he die, Tesla?
I think it was the 40s, just before or after the war, something 44 around there. And the story is he used to go into Bryant Park from the hotel and feed pigeons like an old cartoon. Oh. He'd sit on the bench and he was in love with one particular pigeon.
In love with it?
In love. And he'd feed it and love it. Well, not, in that sense.
Do you think he just loved it as a pet, or did he have like a weird sexual vibe for it?
From everything I've read, it seemed a little more than just, hey, I like this pigeon. He's cute.
What's the difference? Why would you assume it's a he? you mo.
I don't know. Yeah, why would I?
Yeah.
I assume all pigeons are. So he would do that, and then he'd go back to his hotel room at the New Yorker, and they have like a plaque dedicated to him, and they have like a kind of a really small room with some interesting facts about Tesla. But this guy was the guy. Every bit of electricity we use is because Tesla came up with alternating current, and Edison was like, direct current is the way to go, and it just wasn't.
What's the difference?
They stole direct current. Can't really, you can't really transmit that power over great distances.
Is that AC/DC, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there, you would know that.
I certainly would, because of the band. Because of the band, not because of the mouth choices.
where you put that? Yes. So you can't really transmit DC over long distances, and AC. He was like, and they were like, well, it's impossible to do alternating current, and he came up with it. And then Edison stole his patent, and because he was with General Electric and they had lawyers and everything. So he just ended up being this destitute old man dying at a hotel on 8th Avenue in Manhattan.
How do you afford a hotel if he was broke?
I don't know. I think he had some relatives that just were paying for him because he was really feeble at that point, but just a brilliant man. And like, that's an interesting story to me.
Yes, it is.
So you go around and there's plenty of things to do. So I found the Osborne apartments, and it's right across from the WNEW studios we used to go to, across from the Brooklyn Diner on 57th and 7th. And Gig Young, he's in one of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes. And he goes back to his hometown and he sees himself as a little child, and he's trying to convey to the kid, like, please enjoy your childhood, because he's a business guy. He's burnt out. His life is terrible. And he wanted to stay. And then his father told him, like, you got to go. Like, this is for him. He's a child. He wound up blowing his wife's brains out and blowing his brains out in this amazing hotel, the Osborne, on the corner. So I just did a quick break on that. It got like 20,000 views in no time.
As you're saying that, I never thought I could envy Gig Young. I'm looking it up as you talk. That was like 1978.
Yeah, 78, which is weird. He did a few movies. He was supposed to actually be the Waco Kid in Blazing Saddles, but he was so drunk that Mel Brooks fired him. He was supposed to be the voice of Charlie in Charlie's Angels, and he was so drunk that he got fired, and then he blew his wife's brains out.
Would be funny if that was like after a month of sobriety.
He finally has a clarity.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show, 77 WABC.
Hey, breakup. This is, all this believe women stuff and everything that we've heard over the course of the years. A lot of times, they're crazy. They're just crazy people, and they very vindictive. I don't want to sound misogynistic here, but a lot of times it's not as it seems. And this woman, taking it to the extremes, she broke up with, or the boyfriend broke up with her, and he's a cop. So it's not like he's just going to put up with this nonsense. And she does something that I've always found amazing. Tries to hire a hitman. Do people really think that this is a thing, that you can hire a hitman, especially off of a dating app, Tinder? First of all, the guy's just going to yes you to death so he could bed you down. Are you a hitman? Yeah, I'm a hitman. After I hit that, but he apparently was not a hitman. By the way, they're never hitmen. Understand something about the internet. It's never a 16-year-old, and it's never a hitman. It's always a cop. So don't ever think you're talking to who you think you are when you're trying to do something as illegal as hire a killer. Maybe that Luigi guy, that guy that shot the CEO of United Healthcare here in New York, maybe he would have been a hired hitman. He seemed the type, but even he wasn't. That was his own personal gain, killing that CEO. So I don't think they really exist. You watch too many movies. So she tries to hire this guy, and the guy instantly calls the police. Because, of course, if you're trying to go out on a date and some woman wants you to kill her ex-boyfriend, you're going to call the cops. So he did. I don't even know why she approached this guy. He ended up calling the cops, and they made a deal. She met with the informant in North Black Horse Pike in Gloucester Township, and provided the informant with $500, righteous bucks. And after the money was exchanged, Diorio, her name was, what the hell's her name here? Yeah, whatever. Her last name is Diorio. What's her first name? Didn't it say it right there somewhere? Anyway, Ms. Diorio was arrested. Of course she was taken into custody, And she was found in possession of a bottle of suspected I guess Xanax. An affidavit obtained by Philadelphia television station revealed the informant met with the Camden County Major Crimes Unit detective in early April and reported that Diorio had been adamant about killing her ex-boyfriend. So she was serious about this. I would think you would just imagine like, yeah, you say, I want to kill that guy. But I guess she was being pretty graphic and serious about it. In late 2022, prosecutors said the policeman's house was vandalized with a Molotov cocktail, and that over the summer of 2024, Diorio had filed a temporary restraining order against him, but that was later dropped. Yeah, this is what they do. It's very, very vindictive, very angry and spiteful, and it usually just goes that far, you know. The Philadelphia officer told Jersey police detectives that he and Diorio broke up March 6th, 2025. So it wasn't even a month later that she gets arrested for planning to kill this guy while arguing the hairdresser was a threat. Assistant prosecutor revealed some of the evidence in the hearing. He said in a recorded conversation with the informant, with the man that she asked to kill her husband, she replied to him when he asked her if she really wants him to do this. She said, "Why the F would I want out?" Very coldly, she replied. So she was serious about this. You can't trust an angry woman. I just got to tell you, I've been involved over the course of the years with some, not to that extent, thank God, but I've talked about it before, that I have levels of security in my house because I'm a gun owner, and certain girls qualified as magazine in. You could have your pistol on your night table with the mag in, just sitting there as protection when you sleep. Then there were some girls that were mag out, and you would have the magazine out, but within reaching distance, and not one in the chamber either. And then there were girls where you just take the mag out, hide the gun, don't tell them you have a gun, lock everything up because, you know, they're a little batty. But us as guys, we're stupid. And you know what all guys want. And we're actually willing to take the chance sometimes on being murdered to hang out and maybe get some favors from some of these mentally ill ladies. We'll be right back with more of the Anthony Cumia Show.
WABC New York and 107.1 WLIR-FM Hampton Bays. What does WABC stand for to you? WABC! For some people...
Welcome back to the Anthony Cumia Show. Of course, I'm here with my guest, Jim Norton.
And people on the camera can see me blowing my nose. I mean, I am a mess tonight. Yeah, I'm a mess tonight.
At least it's your nose. Let's take some phone calls, Jim. People love you. They want to talk to you. I guess I could just plunk one of these down.
Sure.
Huh? All right. How about Rick? Is that it? Did I get this? Do I have to double click? There we go. Rick from Jersey. How you doing, buddy?
All right, how you guys doing? I was going to tell Jim Norton I got a party with you, but after that Subway story, I'm having second thoughts.
Well, you know, look, if you don't want that to happen, you know.
Heard Neil deGrasse Tyson's name mentioned,
yeah,
and I just want to tell you, he's not a friend of ours. He's property of George Soros. He pushes the global warming scam. Anybody that pushes the global warming scam, guilty of global child abuse.
Well, I had him on.
Kids, the world's coming to an end. That's child abuse.
I had him on a few times, Rick, and I don't get into the politics of it. He's an interesting guy to talk to. He's great when a flat earther calls up and you want to refute it. It's nice to have him in the studio that day. He was out. I guess he had done. Was it my show or he did somebody else's show? Iraq.
He did your show and then used to do Star Talk over it.
Yeah. He was out and he was in the green room and I had a flat earther on and he's nonsense of flat Earth. Just stop.
Yeah.
And I go, I wish I had a astrophysicist here and it's like, oh, there he is. So again, just refuting everything. I'm at the point right now where everything that's happened, I'm not just instantly going to say that's impossible or that doesn't happen. I used to be very pro-government and go, they wouldn't do that to us. And nowadays I give anything the benefit of the doubt. I go, well, maybe.
Yeah.
But flat Earth, stop it.
It's idiocy.
Thank you, Rick.
And what do you mean he's not a friend of ours? We're not teams. We're just individual people. I love Neil deGrasse Tyson. Why? He's a genius. I don't care what his politics are.
Dear friend of ours.
I mean, it's not,
regardless.
It's not a team sport. Like,
no.
I don't care what he thinks about other stuff. I want to talk to him about light refraction.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you're
leaning and pawing on Jim.
He does. I'm like a squeeze toy, and people just feel comfortable, like they get their attention on squeezing me. But I had him on. We did like almost an hour and a half, and he talked about everything, his feelings about religion and Christ. It was very, very interesting, the conversation. It wasn't all about science.
Right.
He got very personal, and I love him.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
When
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know how anybody doesn't like him.
Jimmy does that. I know. It's politics. People get, like you said, it's one team or the other. Never the twain shall meet. You have to hate anyone that believes everything that you don't believe in. So, I don't know what happened. We were supposed to get these phones and get on the internet and share ideology and the way we feel about things. And it was supposed to bring us together. Well, whoopsie. Yeah. That didn't quite happen. It seems like we're a lot more divided now than we ever were.
Yeah.
Let's go to Don. Is that Don on the phone? Where are those pictures I was supposed to say? Don from Canada. What's up, my friend?
Hey, fellas. Just a couple of things, and then I'll get out of your hair. Not Jimmy's, because he doesn't have any.
Oh, sir, please, with the fresh talk.
Pubes.
Yeah. What, am I dead on the subway? Okay, I'm not going to let that one go.
I wish.
I know, you like to be behind me.
Speaking of dead bodies, I worked at a crematorium in the early 80s out in Anaheim, and probably the most interesting job I've ever had in my life.
Jeez. Isn't that a little morbid? Like, do you have nightmares? Do you get the heebie-jeebies? You don't just feel like you're doing something, that would be creepy.
Yeah, you would think that, but you get used to it real quick.
Oh, no.
Did you ever touch the private parts of a body before it went into the fire?
I wanted to say I didn't molest anybody except some of the Mexican groundskeepers.
Why would you molest them?
Why?
Well, because they were alive.
Oh, okay. Only living. Right, yeah. Well, that's good. All right. Then you're not weird.
Yeah.
Wow, that's weird. That's something though. Did you watch them as they turned into ashes?
Oh, for sure. And the most interesting thing about it was after you sweep them up, you put them in this thing called the grinder.
Right, because there's still bones.
Grind them up.
Oh, God.
Yeah, people think...
Is that what that is? I saw that on your phone. I was wondering.
And then you have to reach down inside and clean like metal and stuff off of the screen, like pacemakers, hip joints, staples, and what have you.
Right.
Ooh, wow. And then you don't give it any thought that it was a person and, anything like that. They're just a product for you.
No, I always thought that they were, and I handled them with the greatest of care, knowing that they were somebody's aunt or grandfather or what have you.
Before you torch them. It just seems odd.
Yeah. Right. Laugh at that little charm bracelet is just going into a fire. Won't be hugging her no more.
All the little grandkids' names charred on the hearts.
And you figure all the times that thing jingled as the hand went up and down, up and down.
The interesting thing about the grinder was I'd pull out these little hunks of yellow metal that was really heavy, and they would tell me, just put that in the soap dish. And at the end of the day, the soap dish would just be full of this stuff, and then in the morning, it'd all be gone.
What was it?
You know what? I'm going to leave that to your imagination. Here's the last thing. Anthony, I want to thank you for introducing me to the great Chris Baldessano. I love that guy's
his name comes up,
karaoke.
Yes, he does a karaoke.
I love his karaoke on YouTube, Subdivisions.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Don. I like Chris too, but it's not the Chris show. Thank you, Don.
Yes.
Take it easy, man.
Very hurtful.
Very hurtful.
Mention Chris during Anthony's show.
Very hurtful indeed. It's the Anthony Cumia Show, for God's sake. I think I almost cursed before. Did you punch out? You dumped out of me?
Did you almost curse?
It was 2 letters of the F word. I didn't even get to the real crux of it.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, that's like a first. That's a first. I'm gonna refute it. I'm gonna have him review the replay and see if I should have been called out on that.
Oh, okay. You think sometimes they might panic?
Yeah. I want to get back a little bit to the Hollywood celebrities and some of these.
Of course.
Deaths, of course. Jim Norton's here, Hollywood. So you've been in a couple of
that's right. More celebrity talk.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think nowadays we look at Hollywood and the glitter and Tinseltown is definitely tarnished.
Yes.
It's not what it used to be. People don't have this adoration for celebrities anymore.
No, they hate them.
They hate them. Yeah. And I remember years ago watching The Tonight Show, Johnny Carson, these celebrities would come on and they never talked politics. It was, I'm opening in Vegas. I was hanging out with Jimmy. I was hanging out with this guy, and it was all fun.
Yeah.
And they never got serious. And then for some reason, they started opening their yaps about politics and what we should be doing from, their gated house in Beverly Hills or wherever, Bel Air. And people started hating them. And then there's the other part with the supposed adrenochrome and the child abuse and all that stuff. And then I was looking back and thinking,
what's adrenochrome, like child blood or something?
Yeah, it's like supposed to be some kind of serum they come up with. And if you have to frighten the kid's got to go through like a living hell, and the adrenaline pumps into their system.
Your rug must be covered in it.
Yeah. And they somehow consume it, and it's like the fountain of youth kind of a thing.
Oh, okay.
Keeps them good looking and popular. Yeah. And that's, so there's so many of these stories, and then you see real life things happening, like what's happening with what's his name there, Justin Bieber, and Britney Spears is a mental patient.
She's always been crazy though. She's always been nuts, and you look back at her father, like, hey, maybe he was right to try to put her in a conservatorship because she's crazy.
But why was she crazy? Because no one thought she was crazy back in the old days where she was doing the videos and everything and was popular. She was just a pop star. Maybe they hid that from everybody, but later on you realize, and you can only assume it's because they go through so much horrible trauma, being run through the Hollywood and the music industry mill. Justin Bieber is out of his mind. I mean, he's out of his mind, and all those stories are coming out about the Diddy parties and what happened to this kid when he would go to the Diddy parties and whatnot. And like, that's part of this celebrity cabal.
How much of it is that though, and how much of it is just being that famous when you're that young? Like, it's crazy. Like when the whole world knows who you are when you're 15, every mistake you make is documented. Every dumb thing you do is like, everyone sees it. Like even Gary Coleman didn't have a great ending, and he's one kid that no one thinks anyone molested, and yet Gary Coleman wound up just falling down his basement steps with his wife's footprint in his back.
in his tiny little security guard uniform.
Oh my God.
Oh God, what a horrible ending.
I mean, he's the cutest kid on earth, and all of a sudden just something happens.
Yeah.
There's a string of Mr. Big rolls, and then he refuses to sign My Different Strokes. Remember he wouldn't sign it?
Yeah. It could be like that whole Different Strokes thing, all the kids, Dana Plato and what you talking
Todd
about,
Bridges,
Willis, Todd Bridges, they all had issues and huge problems. So you think maybe it's just
combination. Some people probably because there was sex, and some people probably just it's being that famous.
But then you get someone like Leonardo DiCaprio, who was a child actor, obviously, and he seems, who knows, but he's definitely not. He didn't kill himself. He doesn't have these drug problems. He does seem to like 25-year-olds.
Sure, so he's perfectly healthy, normal.
A normal guy.
Look at Ron Howard. I mean, since he was a kid on the Andy Griffith Show.
Yeah.
And then Richie Cunningham, and he stayed pretty normal.
So I would assume, I guess different people
maybe,
through different things. But I kind of, with the stories that come out, I would think some terrible things happen to these these kids. And, that's kind of the newer thing we get. But the old school Hollywood was just as bad in other ways.
Oh, my God.
They were all drunks, like crazy, abusive drunks. They got married 5 times. They had kids with different wives, neglected them, and then they'd off themselves or die in some horrific car crash because they were hammered. So it's just a different type of horror that was going on back in those days.
Did you see the clip that was going around recently? It was either Judy Garland or Shirley Temple when they were older, telling a funny story about going into a giant executive meeting when they were kids.
Shirley Temple.
It was Shirley Temple.
Yeah, that's brutal.
She was probably Shirley Temple Black by that point. And she was married.
Oh.
And she said that they split her up, and then her mother went into one room with one executive, and she went in. Yeah. And I Googled the guy. He was a real guy. And she said she walked in and the guy was just naked, or he took his clothes off, and he was like 60.
Yeah. And she started laughing.
It's a fun story.
She's a kid.
Sure.
So she saw it. And the guy got mad that a child was laughing at his,
well, it's humiliating.
Yeah. But, just terrible people. The casting couch stories, they all got to come from some element of fact and truth.
And she was talking about it and laughing as an adult about it. Like, my mother said the same thing happened to her. Like, they just didn't look at it the same back then.
Despicable people.
It's crazy.
Come on in here.
Yeah.
Here's my penis. We'll be right back after these words. Stick around, won't you?
This is the Anthony Cumia Show.
Anthony Cumia Show. That's me on this Sunday evening with Jim Norton, E-Rock hanging out too. Having a lot of fun. I like my friends.
Oh, this is great.
I love it. Don't forget, Wednesday on Sid's show, Sid's morning show here, Donald Trump. We'll be talking with, you might have heard of him, the President of the United States.
That's awesome.
Which is insane. Like, I remember Sid at NEW and, sports guys. And now he's talking with the president. The president actually, I've heard some stories. The president really likes what he's doing and appreciates his work with the Jewish community here in New York. And, like, those Jewish ambulance that go around?
Yes.
And not the ones that chase it. Those are the lawyers. The ambulance, they dedicated one to Sid. They put his name on it. And that's like a big honor. And I saw some pictures earlier of Sid at his Passover Seder at his house. So Sid's great. And he's going to be talking with Donald Trump on Wednesday. So tune in the morning.
That's great.
Here for that. He's awesome. There was something else I wanted to get to. I was still talking a little bit about Hollywood because there was one other celebrity that I brought up that I looked at. Albert Salmi. This guy.
Who's that?
He was
a celebrity?
Yeah, he's an actor, but he was in a lot of Twilight Zones. He was also, if you remember, in Caddyshack, he was Danny Noonan's father at the beginning, where he goes, "I saw that." He goes, "Oh, I bought a Coke." He goes, "What are you, diabetic?"
I don't remember.
Yeah, he was an actor, but he's another one that decided that him and his wife didn't need to continue anymore. Yeah, you probably recognize his
wow.
Face. But he's in a lot of Twilight Zones. And let's see, April 23rd, 1990.
Okay.
So but it's not a short time
35 years ago.
A long time ago. I still think the 90s are like yesterday.
35 years ago.
Him and his estranged wife, Roberta, were found dead in their Spokane, Washington home by a friend who stopped by to check on her. According to newspaper accounts, Salmi fatally shot Roberta in the kitchen of her home, where she should have been.
Absolutely. It was either going to be there or the bathroom. I might say the bedroom.
Of course. Once you're done rattling those pots and pans, get your ass into the bedroom.
Clumsily tripped. Sorry.
And he shot her and then turned the gun on himself upstairs. And but there's so many of those from
murder-suicides.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, maybe these days actors they accept that they're older and they're not getting the roles they used to and things because they don't seem to be blowing themselves away as much as they used to.
Much as often as they should.
Drugs, as they absolutely
There's
should.
quite a list. Well, I would love to.
They're despicable.
Handguns with a rearview mirror on it. Here, enjoy this. I saw your last series. You stink.
Do you, I don't see you as someone that watches a lot of movies. You don't, right? You don't watch a lot of other people working in the entertainment business.
No, I don't. I don't watch other stand-ups.
You're not right now.
No, of course I'm not. I'm not entertainers or people. I shot something in November.
Fortunately.
That I know
right.
myself.
I know where we're going.
I know, and you're not wrong. I thought of it. But I'm going to release it probably on YouTube like everyone does. But I just sent it to Mark Normand, and I'm going to send it to one other person. I'm like, could you watch this and tell me if you recognize any of these jokes? Like, I'm so paranoid about another person's joke creeping into my act and me not knowing it. Mm-hmm. So I have a third party watching it just to be careful.
Yeah.
I don't watch anything.
I've noticed something though on streaming services like Amazon and Netflix and Hulu and whatnot. They will put out a series and the first season is good. Yep. It hooks you in and then it's garbage. Like they just give up. And everyone's psyched about the first season, and then they just it's terrible. It sucks.
Severance.
Is that a good one?
Oh, season 1 was interesting and good, and season 2.
Yeah.
I mean, oof.
Same thing. What was that show that I used to like until you talked about it, and then I hated it because I couldn't.
Hogan's Heroes.
Dad.
Wait, not Walking Dead.
Which one was that?
Dad?
No. Dad, with the Succession?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You hated it. I loved it. And then you ruined it for me.
The last season was actually good.
Was it?
I actually liked the last season. Yeah, I did turn around and watch last season.
I didn't even watch it. I was just like done at that point because you had ruined it for me.
Jeremy, yeah.
And every time Jeremy came on and he would talk to his dad, I was just thinking like Jimmy thinks this is garbage.
It got a little annoying, yeah.
It ruined it for me.
Hey, Shiv, that stupid brother-in-law.
Yeah. So many of those shows though, they don't know what to do with it. After that first initial hook you get, they just, the whole allure of it just goes away. I got to take a quick break. We will be right back with Jim Norton, Mr. Rock of the E Variety, and myself, Anthony Cumia. Moments. Don't go anywhere.
They were doing what they were paid to do. Shock.
Welcome back, Anthony Cumia Show. Yes. Right here, Jim Norton, Mr. E-Rock.
These breaks, by the way, it's weird going into commercial break, but they're not nearly as bad as they used to be. Like, they used to be long.
Oh,
these are actually pretty tolerable.
Forever.
Yeah, these aren't bad at all.
Yeah.
I love the Cars for Kids song. I can't get enough of that. I keep going down the hall just to try to hope someone's playing it. I had it on my iPod. Great joke in 2007. Fat-breasted idiot.
I just don't like the Cars 4 part. I was thinking the other day, like reminiscing about the old O&A show and some of the celebrities we had come in, and it's amazing. Like some of them were, you'd never expect to meet people like that. One of my favorite interviews was Ray Liotta.
Oh, he was great. That was XM though. That was over at the old XM.
That was
right?
at the old XM. Yeah. But like with everything, NEW, all those various iterations of the show. And you, of course, Ozzy, I know that was just a huge thing for you. The first time he came in, you were,
I couldn't talk.
You couldn't.
I couldn't talk. I just sat there.
Yeah.
Like Gene Simmons was the first giant one for me at NEW.
Yeah.
And Ozzy was XM. Ozzy called in in the afternoon on his way to a helicopter.
The helicopter. Yeah.
And his last show, the Sabbath's doing their last show. Me and Florentine are going over to England.
Like last show, that's it.
The Sabbath is doing one more show together, all of them. Ozzy's, he's got Parkinson's. I think it's Parkinson's. He's got something.
Yeah, he's got something.
And he had that bad fall, so I think he's in rough shape. And they want to do one more show with Bill Ward, and Jim and I are going over there, and we're going to do gigs. and just to pay for the trip, and then go see Sabbath's last show in July.
Wow.
Yeah.
At this point, you have to. You're like obligated to see the last show. What do you think, though? Because, one thing you don't want to see is one of your heroes like that not being able to pull it off. And do you think Ozzy's got it in him to do?
I have been watching Ozzy live. I've been going to see Ozzy since 1983. I've watched him forget the lyrics of every single one. I've seen him drunk on stage. No, whatever he does, the voice sounds great. That's all that matters. And I know that he's just doing it because he wants to do it. So no, there's nothing. Even if he could only croak through one song, I wouldn't care. I'm I'm happy to be here with these guys. To maybe say I would love to say hello to Sabbath. Like,
do you think you'd be able to somehow score backstage, say hi, something?
They're not doing any comps because it's for charity. So the way it's working is like they sell the tickets and then there's going to be friends and family seats released.
Say you're a Make-A-Wish kid. Believe you.
I just want to meet the guys. Can I meet Mr. Osborne? So I keep bugging Sharon's office. Like, did they release the tickets yet? And he's like, we'll let you know. I'm beginning to annoy them.
It's that pain in the ass, Jim Norton. You just won't leave us alone.
I'm going to buy a meet and greet package. Like whatever they're selling, I'll buy. I don't care.
Yeah.
I just don't care. I can't wait.
And where is it?
It's in Birmingham, England.
Oh my God. Wow, that is a huge fan.
I've never done anything like that before for a show.
Yeah.
But it's Sabbath's last show, and it's going to be with Bill, with the drummer. Yeah. So I want to see with Bill Ward.
You bring him some gifts. That was one of the greatest moments in O&A history.
It really was.
The birthday present. Yeah. You brought books. You went to the bookstore. And I mean, I know you well enough to know you put so much thought.
A lot of thought.
Into every single one of these books you bought at Borders or whatever it was, Barnes & Noble, for Ozzy's birthday. And it was Beatles books and music.
All Beatles
oriented.
books.
Yeah. And you brought him in and he was like, oh, thank you, Jim. It's wonderful. And he left and forgot the books.
Yep. He left the books.
Didn't take them. And it was hilariously funny. It's the only way that should have worked.
It worked the way it should have. And he sent Tony Dennis, who was his assistant at the time, back in. And we were like, but he wanted Ozzy's cup. Ozzy had left his cup. Because he was sick and he had like a special cup he was drinking out of.
And then we had to go, also, could you please take the books?
Didn't. They stayed there for years.
They did.
They stayed there for years.
Books.
And then a few years later, I'm in Los Angeles after I got to know him a little bit. And I'm with Jonathan, and who's my manager, and my ex-girlfriend Jen. We're all going to meet for lunch. And I texted Ozzy, and he goes, "Are you in LA?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Why don't you come over? I'll play the new record for you."
Oh.
So I just left my manager and my ex-girlfriend at a restaurant and went to Ozzy's house and listened to his record.
Of course you would.
Yeah.
That's and they should understand.
They totally did. Not only was I okay with doing that, if it was my current wife and it was literally, if she was getting last rites, I would leave and then go celebrate with Ozzy.
That's great. Yeah, because I remember that like the first time Ozzy came in and everything, and it was huge. But it was such a great perk of doing the radio show to meet some of these people and talk to them, ask them questions, see how weird they are in real life. Like, who was it? Was it not? Who was the guy? I always get him confused with Liam Neeson, but it's not Liam Neeson. It's the
Willem Dafoe.
No,
somebody else with Jet Black.
Everyone.
Oh, Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
Yes, yeah.
Gary Oldman was a weirdo.
Yeah, he was a little crazy,
a little nutty, but funny. But you get so used to seeing them in movies, and especially if they have a certain attitude, a part they play better than others, or more often than others. So you kind of like, I expected that, but this guy's out of his mind.
He was a little crazy, and I'm always so filled with shame, as I should be. I was on a plane,
literally filled with shame.
Filled with shame. That I can't say on the radio, but let's just say the shame does come back out.
We get it.
Yes, it certainly does. It's a blurka sound. I was on a plane, and Gary Oldman and his family got on. And I wanted to say hello to him. Gar? I'd rather not. But I knew he'd remember me because he said he liked my special or whatever. But I was so ashamed of I just couldn't bring myself to say, because if he said he didn't remember me, I just would have been like
horrified.
I had to have the fantasy that he's actually still liked me.
I'm very surprised because you would usually forego that, the potential embarrassment, because you were so like getting pictures with celebrities.
Yeah.
I've never known anyone before or since that was so into getting pictures at any cost, dignity,
yes,
time, missing a flight.
It all went down the toilet. Dignity. I did stop doing it though. Like if I interview somebody now, yeah, I've seen plenty of people I haven't. I'm like, if there's somebody I want who I really like, but I've met everyone I want to meet. So
really,
yeah, pretty much. There's a few left that I haven't.
Sad.
But yeah, I'm okay with it. Like I used to get stories out of it or whatever, but
I still have stories dealing with you and celebrities. He would just throw his headphones down in the middle of you guys talking about something because we had to give him the cue to go get whatever.
I didn't mind. It was
but
fun.
He would always sit there. You have new markers? They got to be brand new markers. Yes. Just run it on this paper here for a little bit. So I'd have to show him I ran it on the paper.
The marker.
Is your flash working?
Yes.
Just take a photo of me. Let me see the camera. Let me make sure the flash is going.
It was kind of before like iPhones are great now for pictures. Any idiot can use them. E-Rock. But I'm teasing. But back then you had to make sure, like, don't get blurry, like a blurry picture or that. And you'd want to check the picture before the celebrity
make sure the eyes weren't closed.
It was such a chore and strenuous.
Yes.
If when I would get handed the camera, I'd freak out. I don't want this responsibility.
I learned the hard way in 2004. It never changes.
Never.
I went to this dinner with Manny. I don't know if Patrice was at this one. It was called CORE, Congress of Racial Equality, with Roy Innis. He was the one who would, and 1 year Laura Bush was the speaker, Orrin Hatch 1 year. And I went, and Kevin Hart was there. And Kevin was just a young comic then.
Yeah.
So I had him in charge of taking my photos. But he didn't know how to use the flash.
Oh, no.
So I have a blurry Charlton Heston. I have a blurry B.B. King.
Charlton Heston.
Because this idiot didn't know how to operate a camera. Oh. So I learned from that moment that you always check everything.
Yes, check everything. But it's a chore. No one wants to do it. The celebrity just wants a quick picture and then leave.
Yeah.
You're holding on to them, making them stay. Wait, I don't look good in this one.
I did stop though. I got sick of it and I just couldn't anymore. I just don't care anymore.
One of my favorites was your hatred that instantly came up for Derek Jeter.
You know, I always felt bad. I will say it's one of the few things in life I feel bad about.
That was hilarious though.
Yeah.
That was at a charity event.
It was a charity event. I mean, Derek used to do a lot of, he still does, a lot of charity. And we had the
XM bought us a table.
Yes, bought us a table there for this event, bunch of Yankees and Derek. And all you wanted was that picture and a signed baseball.
A picture of me and him signed.
Right.
I had a picture from XM. So
yes, that's right. You wanted that picture signed. And he wasn't signing, like he signed for girls. Was that the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I handled it poorly though. I will, in hindsight, because he was doing a charity. I should have just paid to have it signed. It was so stupid of me not to.
It was like, pay. That's why it's an event.
It's a regret.
It's like going to one of the Comic-Cons and going, I just have the picture. Just sign it, William Shatner.
Sure.
You know, you're supposed to pay.
I saw Bill, if you want to talk about Bill Shatner.
Hello, Bill.
I was on a flight. I was zipping around and,
was there a man on the wing or something? Was he freaking out?
Wait a second. Hold on a second to do the plane.
Was it like, Starbase 3605?
Something like that. I can't do Chip. My voice is still good. I'm coughing. But I was on a plane and Shatner was on the flight. And he remembered me because I've interviewed him a lot. Like on our show.
Yeah.
And at Comic-Con, me and Sam had gone. I've interviewed him and I've talked to him enough where he saw me. I was like, I was a familiar face. So we chatted a bit about horses. I forget what we were talking about.
He's a very big equestrian guy.
Yes, that's why I mentioned it.
Okay.
Of course, I wanted Bill to talk to me.
But you know nothing about horses.
I don't. I know that I'm looking at the ass of one right now.
Hey.
So I talked to him about horses. And it was so funny. The pilot even came out to meet him. Shatner is a giant hero.
Yeah.
And he's just so over it. The pilot came out.
Oh no!
And he goes, hey, "Bill, you and I met one time," and Shatner just goes, "Yeah, it was very nice."
Oh my God. Get back to flying the plane.
The pilot was so embarrassed because everyone was getting off the plane. And he just went, oh yeah, that was very nice. And he just walked around like without looking up at him.
He's the pilot. At least give him,
I felt
something.
so bad for the guy.
Might have been what puts him over the edge to dip the thing down and kill everybody, including Shanner.
Yeah, he worked for Malaysian Airlines. He had a flight to take. But I don't remember. It was just so embarrassing. I'm coughing.
Oh, you are a mess.
I'm sorry. I wasn't going to cancel. I was looking forward to this for a long time.
No. People would have been really mad.
Wasn't there a time where we saw Randy Johnson, the pitcher, on the street, and you were trying to get a photo?
Ostrich lopping across 57th Street.
Yeah, you were trying to get the photo, and he said no or something, and all we have is a photo of you taking it, him walking away
with a giant stork head. It was literally like seeing Nessie, like the Loch Ness monster in front of the Brooklyn Diner.
Some of the fails were better than your successes.
Yeah.
The famous De Niro one. And then you ended up having some type of professional relationship with Robert De Niro and having him intro your special or there was that scene where what was he spanking you?
He spanked me.
He spanked
my
you.
bare bottom. He was great.
Yeah. But that started out as, the story where you tried to get his a picture with him and you tapped him on the shoulder and looking up at him, it just went, Bob.
Yeah.
And that killed me.
Yeah. Cause I figured he would think I knew him. Cause I called him Bob.
Not Robert.
And now if I email him, he gets back to me. I don't have his number, but I do email him and he'll respond. He's always very nice.
You think it's him?
Oh, no, I know it's him.
Yeah.
I know it. Yeah. I've been on an email chain with him for something we were doing at one point. And it's definitely him.
Oh, okay.
Because again, the responses
I'm not going to doubt you.
Are usually brief, and he always starts off very official. He'll go, Mr. De Niro would like to thank you for your. I can't think of a funny word. God, I suck under pressure. I was trying to think of inquisition, or what is it when you inquire about something? Inquisition.
But
I couldn't think of it. So yeah, inquiry. That's the word.
an inquiry.
God Almighty. When these things turn on, the sense of humor disappears. A flop.
But yeah, there were a few celebrities that were just really cool to meet. And
do you remember when Rogan was in and
yes,
Marion Barry was next door, and I went out and begged Marion. I was like, just come in for a minute. I got a hijack him from Sway. And then,
of course, he was over at Shade. What was that?
Shade 45.
Shade 45.
Sway had him, and he came in, and Rogan asked him some uncomfortable questions about smoking crack, and he's just kind of standing there in the.
But how is it uncomfortable? It's like that's what you did. That's what you're known for, not being an amazing mayor. You smoked crack. You were caught on video
with a hooker,
smoking crack. So yeah, but even I've gotten crap from people over the course of the years that I wasn't aggressive enough with some guests that had things going on. But people don't understand. It's a fun. It's supposed to be a fun show. It's not like Crossfire, and I'm not that kind of guy. I get cringy. Putting people in uncomfortable position.
Yeah.
Even I had to laugh before I even said
You knew where it was going. Of
course. Always.
Something about touching your toes in Velcro sneakers. Yeah, there was some uncomfortable. I have a hard time doing it too. For me to get really crappy with somebody, I have to be angry with them or they have to do something.
Yeah.
That gets me past that point. I'm not good at just being confrontational with somebody for no reason.
Right.
Especially if they're being nice.
Jesse Ventura was the example. Huge moment. So memorable. It's on video.
Yeah.
So it's all over YouTube. It has been for years, and it's one of the most popular things that ever happened on the show.
I still get messages from people. And they'll be like, I saw the Jesse video, and I'll write back, you're mad about an argument two guys had 16 years ago?
Yeah.
Shut up. Shut up.
The speed at which you came out with riffraff hairdo, that's what did it. That put it over and made it so memorable. Jesse was mad, and he kept saying, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
He was the guy that
touched him really.
Yeah,
my back,
very, very hard. And you just had it at that point.
I didn't like that at all. I don't like being alpha. I'm not a tough guy at all. It just set me off. And I kind of, that's another one. I don't regret the argument.
No.
But I regret that we never talked after because it was just so, I mean, it's so stupid. Like, I don't have any bad feelings towards the guy. I don't care about him at all.
He's still alive. You might bump into him at some point. Have him on your show. I'm off the grid. I go to Mexico in the summertime and I get off the grid. I don't have a phone. I don't have, what else? Walkie-talkies. And you're like, what do you do down there? Off the grid. All right. They didn't allow me on Plum Island. I told them I was a governor and I took the boat over. It's like, yeah, it's a virus island. But I'm a governor, a fighter, a Navy SEAL. Shut it. God, what an overinflated sense of self-worth.
Yeah, he really was a bit verbose about his accomplishments.
Speaking of overinflated, how are you, E-Rock?
Doing fine.
That's uncalled for.
It is so uncalled for.
E-Rock, you actually look good. I don't mean that to be shocked, right? I was happy when I saw you today. You look good.
He does look
very
good.
Much.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll pay for the chair. We'll be right back after these words.
Whipping out free speech. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Anthony Cumia Show. Jim Norton joining us the evening, and E-Rock also sitting here and chiming in when needed.
Young Nagel boy.
Young Nagel, he was
I'm just here to
involved.
observe. This is your thing.
He was involved in a lot of the shenanigans that went on.
He
with
was.
The O&A show back at various outlets. Well, let's talk to some people. I'm
Sure.
they want to talk to Jimmy.
Or chat with us.
Us, both of us, of course, all of us, actually. How about Troy? Is Troy there? Let's talk to Troy from Scottsdale, Arizona, I believe. Witness Protection
Yes,
Program, Troy?
Hey, yes, I'm a big fan. I actually saw you guys at the O&A softball game in Newark, New Jersey.
Wow. It's 2001.
Oof. That was the biggest thing that happened in 2001. I remember that. Oops.
No, it wasn't.
Oopsie. Oh, God. No.
I have a question. Is there a chance that you guys are going to join forces with the Chip Army and the Ant Army and do a show?
Oh, my God. I forgot Ant-Man.
Ant-Man. Yeah.
Ant-Man. Yeah, I forgot about Ant-Man.
Gavin bestowed that upon me, and I hate him.
I love it. Ant-Man.
Ant-Man. Yeah. This is the studio's called the Ant Hill.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's like, pour some sugar on the Ant-Man. And I come into the break playing Pour Some Sugar on Me by...
That's how you get money, too.
Yeah.
The Ant-Man needs some sugar.
Yeah, and then
they send little donations.
Antenna hats and sunglasses that look like compound eyes. Yeah, I'm working it all out. The Ant-Man. If I am ever known as the Ant-Man, please blow my head off.
Or even if you're not.
Of course. You never know, Troy. I mean, obviously, me and Jimmy have worked together whenever we can over the course of the years. And I've loved doing Chip. That was, so much fun. The live shows, I forgot, we went out and did those live gigs in various cities. And it was so much fun.
And Chip would write a bunch of dialogue for everyone before. It was usually,
that's right.
It was usually not quite as humorous as Chip had thought it would be.
We had to read from Chip's script.
Yeah.
It was terrible. I forgot about it.
They were unfortunately bad scripts.
Yeah. Anything else, Troy?
My favorite episode was the one where you were drinking wine.
That could be any episode.
Yeah, who was drinking wine? Anthony?
Of course.
Anthony was drinking wine. No, and he starts singing Stumbling In. And then, I guess he had been drinking earlier, maybe?
That would make
I don't know,
sense.
but you start slurring all the lyrics. It's hilarious.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what episode.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, I kind of pulled the throttle back on that a little bit.
Yeah.
We all have to. Sure. But thank you, Troy. Thanks you so much.
Have fun out there in AZ, okay?
Arizona.
Bye-bye.
Like some schnook. Eating egg noodles and tomato sauce.
Is that where he was, Arizona?
I think it was they all go out there.
New development. Yeah, Sammy the Bull went out there.
I think, they sent, what's his name? The guy that ratted on,
Sammy the Bull.
Yeah, Sammy the Bull.
Yeah.
You said that?
Sam Gravano. Yeah, he's on Instagram.
Yeah.
And he's great. He's a great follow. But I really want to get him on my podcast. I would love to have him on, but he just won't follow me back. I don't blame him.
His daughter was on one of those mob shows. Remember, we had them as a guest.
The mob girls, mob
we had
wives.
the mob girls on, and his daughter was on, and she wasn't saying anything. And I said something to the effect of, why don't you act like your father and start talking?
Oh.
And it was something to that effect, and she was not happy.
She didn't get a kick out of it?
She didn't get a kick. It was funny. It's like, your father was...
Sure.
Talk a little too much. You're always talking.
But, he said he had his reasons. So I would love to interview him, of all the people. There's another guy from, I think, the Gotti thing. Is John Alito was with that the guy? I've seen him interviewed quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really fascinating. All those guys are fascinating.
Yeah, I've spoken to a few of them. The Francesi guy, he's out and about on doing podcasts and whatnot. And there's a few of them, and you would think like that would just get you killed.
Years ago,
even if you're out of it for 10, 20 years, you would still be killed if you said things.
It's just not the same anymore.
No,
we don't have the same type of loyalty to this thing of ours.
Even, by the way, my favorite thing in The Sopranos now is watching Vito try to have sex with Phineas, with beautiful kids.
My nemesis. And he goes, when he opens the door to the porta potty, thing, he goes, sound like it was a horse in there.
Oh, God. He played that so wrong, Vito.
Oh, yeah. But when his head came up with the security guy,
sure,
that moment, the first time you ever saw it was like, what? What am I seeing?
And I watch that now, though, and I'm like, why didn't he just say he was doing coke? Like, he could have lied and gotten out of it, but then again, they did see him in a gay club, too. Not even dancing well, by the way.
I don't think that would work.
No.
Coke. That was awful wet coke under your nose.
Yeah, why'd you have coke on your back and your hair?
When he's in the club, it's like, it's a joke.
That dumb hat.
Oh, he's wearing like Cruisin', like Pacino and Cruisin'.
Yeah.
The most stereotypical gay attire in a gay club. And he's like, it's a joke. And then the one guy's walking and he goes, say hello to your wife.
Yeah. Sal, don't say nothing, Sal.
Yeah.
Oh, blabbermouth Sal.
His last ditch thing, like, don't say nothing. Like, the mob guy isn't going to say that. No.
He was very caught.
He's a Finook.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I just kept watching him hit on Phineas.
It was so disturbing, though, watching the Johnny Cakes portion where he was up in Vermont, I guess it was.
Yeah, no, New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. And he falls in love with Johnny Cakes.
Yeah, because I'm like, I never thought I'd be doing this watching this show. quick, hon, melt the butter. That guy committed suicide.
Yes, he did.
The guy who played Johnny Cakes, the actor. I wonder if it was because of that. Like, he kept getting taunted with Johnny Cakes.
Who knows?
I love you, Johnny Cakes.
I love you, Johnny Cakes.
I wonder if that drove the guy to suicide.
It might have. That's not a stereotype you want if you're, old man. We'll be right back after these words. Stick around.
WABC New York and 107.1 WLIR-FM Hampton Bays.
WABC.
Yes.
Anthony Cumia Show, Jim Norton here, E-Rock here, reminiscing about the old days.
Chit-chatting.
So nice, chitting and chatting. A couple of things going on. I guess we'll hit on some of the top stories.
Sure.
This is insane. Jeff Bezos, the Amazon guy.
Sure.
Multi-gazillionaire. He's got his fiance, Lauren Sanchez.
Sexy.
You like her?
Ooh, she is.
Yeah. She's had a lot of
sexy.
work done.
She has, but
yeah,
she's very sexy. She's like Kimberly Guilfoyle in a way. Trump's ex.
Oh, okay. You liked her too? Huh?
Yeah. Like I like that. They're like 48 to 50, but they're just in hot shape, and they go to the gym. Oh,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's right up my alley too. Up my alley.
My alley. Is that what you're calling it now? What's your fingers?
So he's like in the space business now. He's got the Amazon
Blue Comet or Blue Origin.
Blue Origin.
Blue Origin.
It needed the money.
Oh. Yeah, Blue Comet was The Sopranos where Bobby got shot.
Right, the train. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
you dope. Your stupid trains. So his fiance Lauren Sanchez, Katy Perry pop idol star Katy Perry and Gayle King, and then two women that I guess have something to do with the aerospace industry. They are going to be rocketed up into technically space.
Yep.
They're in the vessel for 11 minutes. They shoot it up.
That's right.
It kind of hangs out up, not in orbit, but above the atmosphere.
You're weightless, yeah.
And then it comes right back down again. And this is a terrible idea. I think what Jeff Bezos is doing is a carnival act. I think it's a ride. I think it's not like what Elon and SpaceX are doing. SpaceX is bringing people and materials to the space station.
Sure.
It puts things in orbit. It docks with the space station. Ooh, getting a little turned on there, Jim. It docks at the space station. And this just seems like a carnival ride, and I can only see it ending in tragedy.
You wonder if there's going to be like, this is what I have a couple questions about this. Would you do it? I don't know if I would do it. A part of me thinks Gayle King said she didn't want to do it. But then when someone goes, Oprah said to her, like, you'll regret it once they're back that you didn't do it. 11 minutes later. It's only 11 minutes.
A lot can happen in 11 minutes.
Tell me, Kim, there's certain things I could do 5 times in 11 minutes, including handing over the money.
Without swallowing. Okay,
I'm defenseless when I laugh. Here's what I think. It shoots you straight up, and then you float.
Yeah.
But there's no engine on it. So when you come back down, when that thing comes back down, is it like falling back down, or how are you?
Yeah, it's just falling. The Earth grabs it back and wants it back.
So you're basically just, what are the G-forces like? Are you plummeting?
Well, you're not slowing down from, like when a ship is in orbit, it's doing about 17,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So when it hits the atmosphere, it's got to slow down. So you're feeling a lot of G's. When you just shoot it up and it comes back down, you're not getting those speeds. So you're not getting a lot of G's. There's not as much heat on the heat shield because you're not coming through as fast as you would if you were in orbit.
But if you were on a plane and it just fell from that height, you'd be smashed up against the ceiling.
Yeah, you probably would be.
The G's would be terrible. I think
you're strapped in. No, if it's just falling, I think it has more to do with acceleration than speed or deceleration. You're gonna feel it. But this just seems like, first of all, what a great way to off your fiance if you don't want to marry her.
Sure.
They would never be able to say, "Oh, he did something."
Yeah.
It's just, look, they took a risk. It's dangerous. And then Katy Perry, what is she thinking? I think they're stupid. I think they're just stupid women. Sorry.
Well, he's done it. Bezos himself did the first one.
Did it with Shatner.
Been on it. Yeah,
Shatner did one.
Yeah, he cried.
He cried because of the blackness, the darkness that I saw up there. Believe me, I can relate. and then he gets down there. He's trying to tell the camera and the microphone that they put in front of his face what an amazing thing had just happened. He said that it was so amazing and scary to see how thin our atmosphere is and how fragile the planet is. You're looking around at blue skies and then it's just blackness very quickly, and you see this thin atmosphere over the earth and realize, oh my God, we are here like because of insurmountable odds that
this would work.
Yeah, that it actually worked. And Shatner starts tearing up, and stupid Bezos comes over with a big bottle of champagne. Woo! And just starts spraying it on Shatner as he's having this profound moment.
Oh, Jeff.
And it was so embarrassing. I felt so bad for Bill. And then even Bill had to know, like, okay, this is all right. Woo! But he's having this profound life moment. And, but I don't see women. Sorry if I'm sounding misogynistic.
Well, they're not driving the ship.
No. Ugh, could you imagine? They don't even on SpaceX flights, they're not driving anything. It's very autonomous these days. Like Elon and Tesla and SpaceX is very good with autonomy. It does it by itself. They know how to The ship itself knows how to dock.
I still don't know if I trust that. And I know it's just from being so used to people doing everything.
Yeah.
But when you watch Apollo 13,
right? Yeah.
You see what happened when you left autonomy. It's great reference, 1971. That's a topical and timely thought.
Well, if something happens, I guess they would have to do something hands on.
Yeah.
But these things just fly themselves, and especially the Bezos one. This goes up and down. It's like a bottle rocket.
Yeah.
And these dopey broads are just sitting there hoping they don't burn up.
Yeah. Oh, look, Henfest 25.
And I read a couple of articles about it, and they were more concerned with their uniforms. Like they're fashionable. They talked about the designer that worked on their uniforms. It's like, this is one of the most sexist things I've ever seen. They pile a bunch of broads in there.
Yeah.
I was going to say the other one.
I know what you're going to say, sure.
A bunch of broads in there. Oh. And then they launch them, and it's about their clothes. And they go, we're going to be glam up there. We're going to have makeup in space. And I think Katy Perry said, we're putting the ass in astronaut. And it's like, it's so sexist.
There's only one S in that word.
Yeah.
You're putting an as an astronaut, you idiot.
See how stupid they are? Can't even spell. But it's just like, you're not empowering women by talking about the fashionable space outfit and their makeup and how they're bringing glam to space. So this can only end with a horrific explosion or burning up in the atmosphere, perhaps.
You have to hope the parachutes work. I mean, you're relying on the parachutes. That's it.
Yeah. They don't splash down in this either. They land on solid ground.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, at the last minute, some rocket motors on it do fire and really slows it down.
Wait, even for Bezos? I thought Bezos was all parachutes.
No, it has a quick blast of a rocket once it.
So wait, you fall until you're almost on the Earth?
Well, with parachutes.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It has parachutes, but it also black because it's on ground. Russians did it like that the whole time, but they're Russian. They're nuts. They fight bears and lions.
Did you hear they had audio? It sounded like it was a Russian woman in space. They said she was like, I'm burning up. Like it's getting hotter in here.
Yeah.
And they said she might have been a cosmonaut who was like killed in space in like the 60s or the 50s.
They didn't care back then.
No.
Like, first woman in space. This is going to be very good. And she's screaming as she's burning, coming through the atmosphere. We've always taken losses in the space program very
hard.
Yeah, we take them very hard. The astronaut, it's like, because they're just gone. You don't get anything. They're there. They're heroes. You see them waving like the Challenger and thing, and then they're just gone. I don't know. I don't know if we would feel as bad if Katy Perry and what's her name?
Lauren Sanchez and Gail King.
And
the other two.
And a couple other. I think we'd be like, yeah, they kind of, you put yourself in this situation. You sit on a bottle rocket and launch yourself up. It's a carnival ride. I don't see it as much science as I do SpaceX.
I don't know if I would do it. But I might let myself do it just to experience it and know I'd be terrified.
Yeah.
But I would regret it I'm looking at the clock. Yeah. And by 10:21, I'd regret it. It would be down already. It would be safe. It's such a short flight.
That's always, always the way. If you were ever so scared that you'd walk off a flight like an airplane and I just didn't have a good feeling about that. And then it lands, you'd be like, I'm an idiot. If it crashed, you'd be like, I'm amazing.
It wouldn't crash though. Yeah.
But it wouldn't. Right.
No, it would land.
Right. Yeah. Which, by the way, is another thing I wanted to address. Let me see what I have no idea. Okay. Keep going. Just keep going. I got this. It's the third hour. I'm so focused on the time and the breaks and everything.
Sure.
And then we do the third hour. We could just talk.
More relaxation.
Yeah. You're not a good flyer.
No, I don't. I've gotten worse too. It sucks.
Worse.
I was good for a long time. Then the pandemic happened. I kind of reset to zero again.
Okay.
So I'm okay. But I sit by the window. I look at the wings. I look at the weather before I go.
The window's a much safer place.
No, I just like to be able to see the wings.
Because
I'm an idiot.
They don't snap off.
No, just so I can see it's not moving that much. Why am I so nervous?
Yeah. I guess the more you fly too, the more you think that's one more chance.
One more I could have. Yeah.
Yeah. So the odds. But what do you think about the? It's not really a current spate of of crashes or anything, but there's been a couple of things, and people have blamed various things like DEI and maybe unqualified people in the flight deck.
Well, I mean, like the helicopter that just crashed, they said they think was that, they call it Jesus bolt. They think it might be that one bolt where if it comes off, everything.
Yeah.
But that pilot was a Navy SEAL. Like he wasn't
a flyer.
Oh.
And then I heard he was a service guy for the Navy SEALs.
Oh, okay.
And then he got done with his military service and went into like he was a security guard for a personal guard, like big dummy. Look at me. I'm at a loss.
It's so fun.
I'm at a loss. Club Soda Kenny.
To watch a man get older and watch his faculties go.
Yeah. Club Soda Kenny.
It's like watching Uncle June in season 6.
I did that. Yeah. Club Soda Kenny.
Yeah.
So he was the kind of that guy. He did personal security. And then his wife said he wanted to start flying.
Oh.
So he wasn't a pilot in the military. And I'm not blaming him. I mean,
they think it seems mechanical.
Could be the Jesus bolt, which they call it that because and they say if it fails, you're going to see Jesus. That's
it's also because the reason I don't think it was the pilot's fault is because there's very little a pilot can do. Where you see the helicopter falling, and if you see video, you can see the thing still spinning in the air.
Yeah.
That just came off.
But there's also a theory that he had mishandled the controls. He was ham-handed on the controls, and that the rotor he smacked the tail boom and broke it off even before the rotor came off.
Can that happen?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
You think that they would make it so that couldn't possibly happen no matter what you do. But if you really push forward and then pull back on the control stick, the rotors are flexible and it can go back and bend into the boom, the tail boom, and it cuts it off and you're done.
Oh, wow.
That's what I hate about a helicopter. I'm not a big helicopter guy.
I've never been in one, and they have flights to JFK.
Yeah.
And I thought of it like just to save the time and the traffic. But I want to do a helicopter ride once, but it kind of scares me.
Yeah. Like planes, as long as you can get your speed up, it doesn't matter. You can have no motors and a good pilot like Sully.
Sure.
You land in the river. A helicopter, if it fails, you're done.
Yeah, and there have been a lot of little accidents this year. But I look at it like the more there are, the less likely it is more will happen.
Unless it was because they're putting unqualified people.
That could be it too.
As mechanics, ground crews. You know what I'm seeing a lot? That people just kind of go, planes bumping into each other at the gate or at the tarmac.
Yeah.
And that's because your ground crew was supposed to, they got their little flashlights and they're guiding the planes in. They're not paying attention, or they're not trained right. Or they're stupid, or they got the job because of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So the one, it was Delta airline plane, one I fly all the time, one of these CJ 900s.
Yeah. CRJ? Is that
CRJ 900 from Greenville up to LaGuardia.
I hate those Canadian regional jets.
Hate them.
They're better than props, but they're too small.
Yeah, they're very small. It's just first class, please.
Was it bumpy coming up?
A little bit. Not bad, though. I don't really mind the bumps unless it's crazy. Then I'm kind of looking. But I don't think any plane has ever crashed just because of turbulence. They kind of make them so that
I say that to myself all the time when I'm panicking. I'm having full-blown panic attacks.
Oh, panicky Pete.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah. But that one in Toronto, it was landing in some poor weather and it flipped over.
Yep.
Amazing that people weren't killed.
Yeah.
But then it's like, it's a woman pilot.
Was it a woman?
Yeah. It was a woman flying that plane. There was a guy in the plane also, but the woman was flying it at that time and she didn't have a lot of experience, and especially with bad weather. And I just, I take a picture every time I post it on my social media.
I've noticed.
I'm like, here's an elbow check. I want an elbow with maybe a few, freckles, liver spots, some gray arm hair. Sully. Who wouldn't want Sully as his pilot every single time
Mother
you fly?
Goose.
He did hack up Puree a few geese on that
stupid
one.
animals.
Those dopes.
Geese suck.
You know how small, relatively speaking, to the sky, an intake of an engine is?
Do you know how dumb you have to be as a goose to hang out near an airport? It's like you have everywhere else to go.
You're not going to be minced.
Look, a giant one of us. You dope.
But there's a certain confidence you have.
Yeah.
I want a guy that maybe Gulf War, A-10 pilot, something like that. That, a normal flight for him is great because he's used to being shot at. So how bad is some turbulence or what have you?
Right.
So, you want that. And then I look in and I see, the ponytail and the big diamond engagement ring or wedding ring or whatever. And I'm just like, I just don't feel as good.
You don't feel as safe.
Because look, we all, whenever we get on a plane, you always think like, you do you have a ritual? Do you pat the side of the plane door or?
I do. I
spank it on the.
I do right on the tail fin. Roll now. You're safe, girl. And then there's an engine in the back. I'll put my fingers in it. Rub them under the pilot's nose.
Hey, you made it every time, so I guess it worked.
I sure did.
Whatever you need to do.
I do this thing where I double like my middle finger knuckle in my right hand. I tap twice on the right outside the door walking in.
Yeah.
And it's embarrassing if someone's behind me. I just got to tap real quick. But it's my little ritual.
I do a thing where I actually give my fingertip a little kiss, and then I give 2 taps on the side of the door, like
you kiss your fingers and tap. Why?
And then I tap on the plane because I'm kind of giving the plane like, hey, baby, get us through this.
That's not gonna, but the plane doesn't need that.
Oh, then I stick my tongue in the pedo tube and I French kiss it.
That's the worst ritual I've ever heard.
Is it bad?
Tapping the door is one thing, but kissing your hand and then
it's like it's like when people kiss the ground when they get out of a plane.
You're a plane molester.
I'm molesting the airplane. How many planes have gotten herpes? Yeah, I do that. But now because I want to take a picture, so now I got my camera in one hand, I'm pulling my luggage, and I'm trying to do the kiss tap while I take a picture. So it's getting a little crazy.
It's too much.
I have to do the kiss tap. I got to do it. It's my ritual.
Yeah, we all have a little something. Do you do anything?
No, I don't think I do.
No, you don't care.
No, I really don't care. I fall asleep as soon as the plane's about to take off, and then I wake up, as David Tell used to call it, time travel.
Yeah, time travel. That's great. You don't sleep though, right?
Not even if it's a 15-hour flight and I have a king bed.
You used to have a special pillow you brought with you, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but I bite it now. No, I don't.
That was a bit much.
Yeah, I don't do that
thing
anymore.
with the neck thing. And
I have that still.
You have the neck thing?
Yeah, but I had to get a new one because I was on a United flight and somebody had puked on the floor.
Jesus.
And I didn't know it, but I take my little thing and I put it on the ground.
No.
And I could smell, my whole seat area smelled like puke. And I looked down and I realized there was puke there. There wasn't any puke there, but they had just cleaned it up. So I had put my stuff down and it all ruined and smelled like vomit.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, it was it was gross.
Mm.
I was very unhappy.
Yeah, that happened recently where someone projectile vomited on a woman and her baby. And all on the side of the plane, like this guy unleashed. And it was disgusting. She had the baby and she didn't seem that upset about it. I think when you have kids, you kind of don't get grossed out by puke and things.
I guess.
But she and what they did was they pulled back to the terminal and a cleaning crew, they didn't even deplane. The cleaning crew came in and just kind of mopped it up, but she was wet with this guy's vomit and had to fly the whole flight sitting in wet vomit clothes.
What was wrong with him? Was he just sick or
Yeah, he was walking to the bathroom when they were taxiing, and the stewardess, of course, is like, "Take your seat, sir. You're not allowed."
We're on an active taxiway.
And then the woman said he just looked very puzzled. He kind of was wobbling a little and then just blah, all over her and her baby.
How do you not aim for the floor? I've never puked that suddenly that I don't realize that I'm aiming at someone.
Yeah, especially if you're on your way to the bathroom. Who cares what the stewardess says? Keep going. Go to the bathroom, vomit in there, and then tell her, look, I'm sorry. I
had to throw up.
Puke.
Yeah.
You ever get sick on a plane?
No. Wait, maybe once years ago, but I take Dramamine, so I'm usually okay in bad weather.
You're some of the stories of you and Florentine with passing gas on the plane and completely disgusting everyone around you.
Do you know, it's funny you say that, because I came here tonight, and unfortunately the little gal at home gave me cheese yesterday.
Is that
lactose,
react a little bad?
And all day today it was my whole house.
I'm intolerant, but not for lactose.
You're melanin intolerant. I had been gassing all day, and for some reason, unfortunately, it is not hitting me now. I was hoping to really stink up the studio.
Jeez, that would be.
I wanted so much. Your new gig and all your shiny new microphones. Take that, stupid. But unfortunately, I don't have any, but the cheese kills me.
You were great in elevators when you could release the Kraken in an elevator when we would be at Sirius XM or something.
Yeah.
And you could embarrass people in an elevator very easily. You did it to me all the time.
He would walk into the production studios, just open the door and said, "Do you have my plugs?" Rip, and then slam the door and walk right back on the air.
Yeah, it really is great leaving someone. I've done that to my wife a bit, and she pointed out that also, like with Florentine, there was one time that the flight attendant had to spritz by our seat.
Did she know and purposely buy
you,
did it
or
down
just
the
in the
area?
No, down the hall. I think we were it was one of those first class that had like one seat, then one seat, then one seat. So it wasn't like so she didn't know who it was. So she just kind of spritzed.
You should have been in no class.
Of course I should have been.
Terrible person.
I am definitely not a gentleman. But I did break a little wind. And today I was hoping, and you just reminded me, I'm disappointed.
In the elevators, when Jimmy would get on and there's other people in the elevator and the door would shut and he would start talking about like, don't worry, sweetie, it's not a death sentence anymore. You know, the test came back. It's okay. We were expecting this. And I'd look and just go, don't be embarrassed, sweetie.
It's all right. Nothing to be shy about.
So embarrassing. I don't like scenes.
No.
I don't like that kind of thing. And it would really get me so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I like making you uncomfortable.
Yes, you did many, many times.
I went to dinner with Jim one time, and
most expensive night of my life.
That's the pause. No, we're sitting there and he's ordering, and then
strain the shrimp through your baleen.
That's just mean.
That's a whale joke. Thank you.
I get it.
I didn't care for that. I'm going to pause it.
No, I did. So we're ordering.
I'll do it so you can understand.
20-year-old bit, still
I know,
good,
it's
right?
20-year-old bit.
So we're ordering dinner,
Wow,
and Jim's
15 years older than you normally like him.
We're at the restaurant. Jim starts to order, and then he decides to order for me, puts his hand on my head, and he goes, and she'll have, and like it was a 1950s sitcom thing. He starts ordering my meal for me and just keeps saying, oh, she doesn't like this, but she'll take that. And can we get this on the side too? And maybe some for the table. And then they go off. So I didn't order. And then he just pulls his hand back like nothing ever happened.
She'll have the linguine and white clam sauce and a Coke with no ice.
God, yeah, that was... You were very good for doing that. It was hard. It was impossible to get you back for that. You would just play right into it.
You can never show it if you're humiliated.
No.
You just gotta let everybody know that they didn't do it to you. It's not working. That's where they stop.
One time I got you pretty good was at the airport.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I had told you that one of the Jonas brothers, Nick,
one of the Jonas brothers was eating with his dad.
And this kid kind of had this
15
vague resemblance to Nick Jonas, and he had a guitar, and I guess his father was there or whoever it was.
Airport, yeah.
And I'm like, no, that's his agent, and that's Nick Jonas, and you're like, you wanted to believe so bad to get a picture. And we were standing back where we couldn't hear what you were saying to them or what they were saying. But you walked up, you leaned in and said something. They kind of made a look. And then you just did. We couldn't hear you, but we saw your hands in the up like, oh, I'm sorry for disturbing you. I made a mistake. And we were dying laughing.
I remember that. And I just remember knowing, like when I looked over and I saw you guys laughing. I'm like, oh no. Oh no! I bothered some boy with his father.
That was during a time where you were
oh my
crazy
God,
with pictures
anywhere.
That was the big thing.
Yeah, I remember that. That was one of the really great times. That was humiliating.
Yeah, those gigs were great. The comedy tours.
They were so much fun, man.
We would
going to different markets for just to do a day of radio or whatever. They were great.
Yeah, Philly,
Philadelphia, Cleveland.
Do you hear from Tim? I hear from Tim all the time. Oh, no? Problem?
No.
All right. It's the business.
It is
Some people you get along with. Some people you don't. Some people you appreciate. Some people
absolutely. In life,
I get it.
There are people we are friends with. There are people we know from work. There are people who try to get us fired. There are people who... life is crazy.
All right. Okay.
You know how it is, all walks.
I hear you. Believe me. I understand wholeheartedly. Let's talk to John from the Isle of Long. John, what's up, my friend?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Oi.
Hi, John.
Wonderful show. I just wanted to ask, what do you guys think the future of talk radio and media is going between podcasts and radio and all of that?
It's as far as I'm concerned, I think, like I was saying, the only commodity left is talk. It's something you can't just whip up. Yeah. If I like 80s music, I could go to satellite radio 80s on 8, or I could go to Spotify or Apple radio and get exactly what I want without the pesky DJ chiming in between my Kaja Gugu songs.
Hitting the post and wrecking the beginning of the song.
Right.
Dumb mouth.
Yapping over it.
Yeah.
But talk radio, that's still something that people want. They'll listen to it. There's an audience for it. So I don't know. I think that's something that, the death knell for radio has been going on for years. Television, talkies.
Yeah.
The talkies. But if you got people on there that know what they're doing, I don't know why they hired me, but, people, they'll listen. They kind of want that.
Yeah. Because you can't just whip up a playlist of your favorite talk.
No.
Do you guys think podcasts get played out eventually?
People are never going to stick a little, because there's so many of them. There's always going to be ones that last.
Yeah.
No, they'll be around for a long time until the next technology comes along. But why wouldn't they? Radio's been here forever.
I think podcasting, though, is almost like comedy was in the 80s, where everyone was doing Jerry.
Yeah.
Did you ever notice? And there were 5 comedy shows on every weekend. Evening at the Improv and all those things.
Comedy on the Road with John Miner.
Yeah. And then after a while, the people that weren't that good kind of fell to the wayside, and the good people continued. But there's, you walk into a comedy club and sometimes you see those headshots and you're like, what happened to that guy?
Dude, I go into clubs that have been around for a long time, and I look at those headshots and I'm like, what happened to, I don't know who any of these people are.
Yeah.
But they all had the same dream I had.
They think of that when they look at your picture.
You get the point, son.
You get the point. I hope that answered your question, John.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Jimmy, your podcast is awesome, too.
Yes. Thank you, John. Thanks, buddy.
Yes, Jim Norton's podcast. Jim Norton Can't Save You.
I love it. Yeah, I love doing it.
Cannot save you. And it's a lot of fun.
I wanted to call it, people love the song at the end of it that I close with.
Uh-huh.
And I wanted to call this show Good Luck Stupid, because it's such a great name. But it
kind of fits too. It does. You got problems, good luck, stupid.
But Mike, the producer, he's like, yeah, but it might be harder to get certain guests if they don't like. I'm like, oh yeah. And at the end, I just play. It's a very short, AI generated song. Everybody asked me about the song at the end of it. They're all like, who's that singing? And where'd you get that?
Wow. It's AI?
AI. It's 10 seconds.
Did you come up with the lyrics for the AI? Or?
Yeah, I did on my phone.
You did?
Yeah, there's actually an opening song, which we don't play on the video, and which is AI. And then there's a closing song, but it's a 10-second song, and that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
On AI. I tried to hire a girl to actually sing it, and she was like one of these people you find on a website. And she's like, "This is OnlyFans, you idiot." I don't sing. Like, oh, sorry. I just saw you talking into that giant microphone. Why'd the microphone spit on the lady?
Yeah, so that I'm kind of impressed that you know how to get songs out of AI.
I just wanted to try something weird because I was using AI and having it write roast jokes because they suck so much.
That was
bad.
really good. They're terrible.
Terrible.
It doesn't have a sense of humor.
It doesn't
AI.
get it. No.
Can't get it. That's a weird thing that just it can't. At least now, and I think it's going to be very tough for AI to be funny,
to get that one thing. But it's gotten better though.
Music though, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good, and this. I love the end of this song, but people always ask me about it. Anyway, I was going to call it that, but I didn't. I kind of wish I had.
Yeah.
But Jim Norton Can't Save You has my name in it, so it's easier.
Yeah, you got to have your name in there. It's easier, and people potential guests won't go like, really? Call me stupid?
That's in a weird way, because I just watched the end of the Neil deGrasse Tyson one, and it's playing Good Luck Stupid, but it's showing pictures of me and Neil. And I'm like, I'm not calling him stupid.
Yeah, he's not
obviously.
stupid.
Well, I think people would know who the stupid one is.
Yes, of course.
In that picture.
We'll take a quick break.
Yes.
And then we will return.
And make love.
Yes, and make love with the airplane. I love kissing my hand and patting.
God, that's going to annoy me all week.
I'm going to do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it tomorrow. Good luck. Fly, baby, fly. Ugh. This is like devil's music.
Yeah, I smoked the devil's lettuce one time.
Anthony Cumia Show, of course.
Can I tell you, Ant, sorry to interrupt you.
Yes, sir.
Before I forget, one thing I like about regular radio that I miss is these, coming back with music. I actually always like that. I always enjoyed that. Rejoiners, yeah.
Yes, it is. It kind of pumps you back up.
I just enjoy the hear Metallica in the back.
Yeah, Metallica. Rosie O'Donnell, I have a quick clip of Rosie. She's nuts. I mean, I don't know. Do you have a relationship with her in any way, shape, or form?
I know her casually. She's always been very nice to me.
She's been very nice to you. And believe me, when I saw this and I heard the sound and everything, and I talk about her, I was wondering, okay, I'm going to have Jimmy on. I don't want to rock the boat with any of Jimmy's relationships. But
no, it's all right.
She's in Ireland now, for God's sake.
I don't know her well. The last time I saw her was a few years ago at a UFC event. I said hi to her.
Who was she fighting?
I'm just glad you didn't do something else with those letters. No, I was, and she was with her son. So I said, comics always know each other. It's like actors may not, but comedians always. Yeah. So I said hi, and she was like, hey, and she's like, oh, my son's a big fan. So I said hi to her son. And so, she's always been very
okay.
And I did Colin's show with Rosie the week she came out, or the month she came out. This was when we did the Colin Quinn show before Tough Crowd. It was 3 live episodes on NBC. We did the SNL stage, and Rosie was in one of them, and she was in the sketch.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I've only interacted with her a few times. I don't know her well at all, but she's
nuts. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
I didn't know because earlier in the show, I did a quick break on the fact that she has some kind of relationship with Lyle Menendez.
What's his name?
Lyle Menendez.
Oh, okay.
Of course, the Menendez brothers, they murdered their
I love the father, though. He understood what gladiators did.
Oh, boy, did he ever. Do you think they were abused by the dad?
I
probably
do.
Mentally, but physically, sexually?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But either way, I think they're terrible. I mean, they literally did just plan to shoot their parents in cold blood and keep the money and buy sports cars.
Right. Yeah. It's there's too many instances where that happens and then they go, well, I was abused. So it justifies everything. It's like, well, premeditated murder. Yeah, you might have
both
a problem
your
there.
Parents with shotguns. You weren't scared of your mother.
Yeah. Well, they were pissed at her because she didn't do anything and knew that the dad was abusing them or something. I don't know, but apparently the jury wasn't swayed because they got life in prison.
Yeah,
they're trying to. The documentary just came out and they're trying to get their sentence redone. And
well, it's going to be reheard.
You think it? Well, it's going to be reheard, but do you think they'll actually get less time or time served and be released?
Well, Gil Garcon, I think was, or no, not Gil, something Garcon, whatever his name was, the old prosecutor in LA who sucked, who was soft on crime. He was awful. Gascon. And he said yes, that they should be resentenced. Then the new guy comes and he's like, wants the death penalty for people. And he's like, nope, it's not happening. And then a judge just said we're going to re-sentence them.
Okay.
But I don't know what they're going to get.
Yeah, see what happens. I don't know, because they've been in there, 30 years? Something like that? Over 30 years? 35
years.
maybe?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were very naughty boys.
So Rosie sparked up a relationship and visited him and she actually said it's the first straight man I've ever loved. So really weird, but I don't know. I always thought any of the women that have relationships, even pen pal with a convict, especially murderers, they're weird. You gotta be out of your mind.
Dude, the Night Stalker with his rotting teeth, who like raped and murdered people and hit them with a lamp. He was getting like girls sending him gushing pictures.
That makes you feel bad when you can't get a date.
When I was swiping on Tinder, getting nothing, I'm like, all I had to do is bludgeon an old lady.
Yeah, it's a little disheartening.
It is.
But those women are just busted. They're just
crazy,
broken
They're
women.
nuts.
And I think Rosie falls into that category. She seems like a very miserable person.
But is it a love thing with him, or is it just that I love this guy? And it's not like a sexual or relationship thing.
No, I can't imagine that.
Yeah.
But even so, it's just weird getting this close relationship with somebody in prison for murder.
Yeah.
But that was just one thing. The other thing is the fact that she went to Ireland.
Yes, she did.
I guess she's got grandparents. I don't know what the rules are for Ireland, but you can't just go there and go, I want to be live here now. But she has grandparents that are from Ireland. And I guess if you can trace your heritage back not too far to genuine Irish people, you're allowed some type of citizenship.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So she's trying to get that done. But she's like her thing of leaving America was that she's sick of, obviously she hates Trump, but I think that's even a personal thing. Like she's taking it very personal, but he called her a slob.
He did. Yeah.
The world was watching that debate.
That's right.
When he said just Rosie O'Donnell, she's a slob. So she took it personally, but would you leave the country because this guy that talked crap about you is the president?
No, I wouldn't. I'd be happy anybody recognized me.
No.
And I'd ask him for a picture.
I wouldn't care. Trump calls me a slob. He did.
He did.
I have that as a badge of honor. But it was before he was president.
How much does she have money-wise? I guess she has a lot of money.
She got to be doing well.
Yeah,
she had that talk show that was
that went on
for
forever.
so long. She made a ton of money.
She was good at it, too, before Ellen came along.
Yeah. That bitch.
Yeah, I met her once. I liked that she made people do the white glove test when they weren't dusting properly. She would have people chew gum because her breath stunk. I kind of like Ellen.
She's such not a nice boss.
No, she sucked. I love it.
And, she'd come out with the dumb dance and everyone's like, oh, Ellen, she's so nice. She was ruthless behind the scenes.
Yeah, exactly. A bunch of diabetic fat housewives dancing along to her dumb song. Meanwhile, she's spitting on people in the green room.
Firing Tic Tacs into people's mouth.
Oh, I love it. Chew some gum.
Stink.
Yeah, some guys got ACT breath. Some line producer fruit.
Yeah, Rosie was doing good. And it was like, I think people knew she was lesbian.
Sure.
But she didn't come out and say it. She put on that whole fake thing.
Cutie patootie.
Yeah,
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise and everything. And the housewives ate it up. And then she kind of turned she was very bitter. I think there were accusations on her set too, that she was a little bit of a beast behind the scenes.
Tom Selleck, that was the moment that did it for her. Yeah.
Yes.
People get so caught up in a real life argument with someone. And it was just a weird tone for what she does.
Yeah.
And people are like, what are you doing? Who cares? He's there to promote something. Who cares?
Yeah. She went after him about the Second Amendment.
Yep.
He didn't back down.
No.
And it was weird because it's such a lighthearted show. I got my koosh balls. I'll throw them at you. Why do you have guns?
Who's that, Voss?
Yeah. Well, she kind of sounds like that these days. She's just very, she's a downer.
Yeah.
She's a downer now.
She was difficult at Sirius XM when they hired her to do the show.
Of course they hired her.
And she was there for a while and then stopped doing her show. Her producers were hosting her show for months because she wasn't getting any of the sponsors that she used to have from the talk show.
Oh, okay.
And when she went from the talk show to The View to Sirius XM.
Yeah.
And
I forgot she did The View.
She did it for one season or something.
Yeah. Was that it? She She made big news on that show when she was on. Look at us little hens we are.
Yeah, little hens.
How long was she on?
What
Eric?
happened?
Oh, for Pete's sake, Anthony, you're
goodness.
lying. Oh, how the time flies.
That was good. I think the best view, though, was...
Feel free to set the doorway to this room on fire. 3 old bags.
They're locking it now.
Yeah, well, I wanted to get to the fact that screw her, because she's bad-mouthing the United States of America. And here she is talking about when she might return, what her criteria might be. Let's listen.
When, it is safe for all citizens to have equal rights there in America, that's when we will consider coming back.
Please come back.
It's been heartbreaking to see what's happening politically, and
what?
Hard for me personally as well. The personal is political, as we all know. The mainstream media has been letting us all down there in America, where the fourth estate is required in order to maintain a democracy. And, they haven't been doing their job. So
they rag Trump.
Here's hoping that they will get better before it's too late. And here's hoping it's not too late already. I encourage everyone to stand up, to use their voice, to protest, to demand.
Demand what?
What is this?
That we follow the Constitution in our country.
She just goes on social media from Ireland.
And not a king.
All right.
Not a man.
Not a king. It's not a king.
And we don't have cruelty. As part of our governing style.
So doling the tax.
All right, then.
Shut up, Rosie.
Please.
Shut up. Turn her off. I can't stand her.
You let her get to you.
I do. Because it's like...
Take it easy, Philly.
What? What, Philly? What? Your brother, whatever happened there.
And he just gets angry again. That scumbag cousin of yours. Phil, take it easy. Phil.
Whatever happened there. What a dolt. So Rosie, what rights don't people have? This is what it's, and she's blaming the media. Now, we've been talking about how garbage the media's been for a while.
For decades.
All they do is they're a propaganda wing. Yeah. People can argue whether it's for the left or the right. It's obviously been biased for the left.
More of it, yeah.
Much more of it. So what did they not do, Rosie? The fact that Trump got elected is pissing Rosie off because she thinks the media should have done more smearing and more libel and slander and lies about Trump. So her idea of the media not doing its job is he got elected. You guys didn't do enough of destroying this guy. So she then thinks that rights are being taken away. Whose? The Constitution. Trump doesn't want little groups to have their own little rights and special treatment. So we all have our rights under the Constitution, and those are the rights that we have as Americans. And she thinks they're being taken away and runs off to Ireland. Go screw. Goodbye.
We should go down to New Orleans and hand out free Cuba leaflets.
Okay. I get it. I get so incensed.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Lee Harvey Oswald, of course. I watched JFK.
On my chest.
I watched it.
Oh, I'm dying.
And there's some. I'm a Trump supporter, obviously, but I'm not this just fanatic. Everything is great. I think the whole thing with the Epstein thing, when they supposedly were going to release the list of the Epstein, and it's nothing. And then the JFK files. What was that? Nothing.
No, there was just a few family ties or whatever. There was really not much there that would help the conspiracy talk or no.
Silver bullet or something, as they say. So that kind of was a downer. That was disappointing.
Yeah.
And, I think Trump's a weird guy. I get it. He's a weird guy, but I think he's doing what needs to be done right now. As far as, especially, the world has been screwing us over for a long time, economically, especially.
Sure.
And I don't know, is this the right thing to do? The tariffs and stuff? I don't know. What am I? Economics major? I don't know. So, but he's doing something. Everyone else just sat there and we took it, and now he wants to do something. So I'm kind of good.
Yeah, I don't know anything about tariffs. Like the way he explained it kind of made sense, but I don't know if he's right or wrong.
No,
I just don't know. I don't know anything about it.
And you know what it is? No one does.
No.
All these people think, with a few scrolls of your thumb, you're an expert at everything. And every week there's some new thing that everyone professes to know everything about, and they'll get on and tell you what an idiot you are because you don't know anything about that. And that's another thing that this damn phone is. It
really does. It makes everyone's unbearable. Yeah, everyone is unbearable. I just can't. I don't care. I don't care about the debates. Meaning like regular people.
Right.
Like they'll make a big deal about two people debating Israel, or they're debating the death penalty. I don't care what they say.
I don't care.
They're not the story.
And how does a machine, you pick up your phone, how does this little gadget that has porn on it, why are we doing anything else? Why are we doing anything else? Why would you be so interested in economics or anything when you could just see horrible sex acts?
Well, some of us are using it for that, Anthony. Some of us, while being in Lakewood, New Jersey last week for a gig, realized late in the evening that the little lubricant was required, and got in the car and drove 1 hour each way to an adult bookstore that was open to buy a little bit of lubricant.
I thought you were going to buy a book.
No, not at all. No.
Oh, that's wow. And you had to go that
an hour each way. It was from Lakewood, New Jersey to right by Philly in Jersey. Each way hour.
I think pharmacies now, any pharmacy, CVS has an aisle where you could get.
No, they have the stuff I don't like. The stuff I need.
Oh, now you're being picky.
I am being picky. Yeah, there's only certain ones I like. That Astroglide is. I'd literally rather have somebody vomit in my hand.
That seems like a weird thing to be, especially if you're in a pinch there and you got to drive an hour. It would be like, whatever. Because once you're done, you're not going to. I know, but you're just going to feel like the piece of garbage you are,
dude. It's even worse because then you have to take the towel and you can still feel it on you when you're trying to doze off. Just have that slippery feeling. It's embarrassing. It's pretty awful.
Yeah, I would gather.
But I drove an hour each way to do it. See, I do that stuff on my phone.
Yeah,
that's my point.
You've always had kind of an issue.
Yes, I have
with that.
Very dirty boy.
The spending hours.
Did you know that 15 years ago, Chicago made one of the worst deals in U.S. history? It was 2008 during the recession, and the city was desperate for money. So Mayor Daley sold all of Chicago's parking meters to a group of investors from the United Arab Emirates in exchange for $1.1 billion. The deal said that for the next 75 years, Chicago has to pay 100% of parking meter revenue to the investors' company, which is conveniently named Chicago Parking Meters, LLC. Chicago's 30,000 parking meters generate about $200 million in revenue annually, and because the city is sending that money overseas, none of it will go to Chicagoans. If you think that's bad, it gets worse. If any streets are closed for public events like street festivals or the marathon, the city has to pay this company the money they would have made from parking if the streets were open. The deal also says that if Chicago wants to remove even a single parking meter, they have to pay this company the value of what that meter would have generated until the deal ends in 2084. This prevents Chicago from building more bike or bus lanes because it would be so expensive to remove the meters. We have 59 years left until this deal expires, and nobody's found a loophole to get out of it yet. So next time you see how wealthy Dubai is, just know that Chicago parking might have something to do with it.
That is true.
I take to it okay.
You lived together for a while, though, before getting married.
Pandemic,
so and that I think that's essential.
Yes, it is.
I don't understand meeting someone through the courting process, and then you date, and then you marry, and all of a sudden, you're living together, and now you're learning just horrible things about the other person.
Yeah, like I get a kick out of not flushing. She doesn't think it's funny.
Big lie.
I'm like, come on now. Joker cleared the lid.
Do you turn the lights off when she goes in?
No, because I don't want to know what she's doing in there. Because God forbid I walk in too late. And I can't turn the lights off because my bathroom has a door that has glass, so it would be ineffective because you can see.
Yes,
it's kind of like an opaque glass,
like one of those old school, like a
dentist
vent
office
window at the top of the. Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's not that bad. You know what? I like it. She's messy.
Yeah.
There's two of us, so my place is messier. But it's nice to have a family.
Clean guy though? You like things organized.
I was in my way. I had my ways. Yeah, like I have my ways. I like everything organized a certain way. I like to do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
Jim's house was like a museum.
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, no, I know. I was at the last place, I think, and then this place, obviously. And this place isn't as nuts.
No.
You're not as crazy as you were with your memorabilia. But there's a lot of stuff there, boxing gloves and photos. But it's not every photo that you've ever taken on hanging on the wall.
No, I just have some posters up, Kiss stuff in museum glass. I mean, literally the frames are worth more than the posters.
Yeah.
But it's nice having someone to go home to. Like, I like going, I'll go home after, I'll see her. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I love her, so it's easy.
Yeah, okay.
It's not easy. It's
yeah, there's kind of
challenges.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, oh, God.
Other times I'm not sure.
Argument.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. I just think back to that white Bronco and like, yep. Sure. Surely.
Do you give in on arguments a lot just to make it stop? Because I think you're pretty dedicated to an argument.
Yeah, I'm not good at giving in. Sometimes she's so obnoxious. She'll go, just say you're sorry. But I'm not sorry at all. I'm like, and I tell her I'm not sorry at all. And she goes, just say you're sorry. I'm like, I'm sorry. And she goes, I'm sorry too. And that's the end of it.
Wow.
She can end things like that. We're all stewing it. It does help.
But you're mad still.
It goes away though, because then we're done fighting.
Yeah.
So it is, she's better at ending an argument than I am.
I hate the idea of makeup sex because it's like you're still insanely mad. The argument's over. I'm sorry, I did this, or let's work this out, or so. And then you're supposed to want to have some physical stuff with some sex.
Yeah.
I'm still not happy.
Yeah, because then she and I are just going to wind up arguing over the last Blue Chew.
Let's be on your night table in a Pez dispenser.
Your turn. Yeah, but no, I'm not big on makeup sex either, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Now, still living in New York.
Sure.
Do you when you're driving around, do you at least notice hookers? Because I know you used to be.
They're not anywhere anymore.
They're not anywhere, right?
No, and it's funny. I got a new car. I'm doing a Subaru now. It's less expensive. I'm being more responsible.
It's gay.
And I never,
Subarus.
Is that a lesbian car?
I think it's a lesbian vehicle, but for a guy, I don't know if it's gay, like for a guy.
I only got it because they're supposed to be very good in the snow. And I was doing some upstate driving and I was like, I just need something better than this BMW. And it's half the price for a lease. And I like it. I like the old Subaru.
And, you ever think of pulling it in a garage, closing the door, and starting it?
It's all I think of. There's not a time I get in that car that I don't look for duct tape and a towel and a garden hose. Just want to put your picture up. Yeah, I've thought of it.
Coming up after my program is Dominic Carter. He does his show after my show. And I'm going to pop on with him for a couple of minutes at the beginning of his show, see what he'll be doing this evening. What do you got to plug? Because I want to get everybody's plugs
this week.
E-Rock, where will you be eating?
I mean, that's just not nice.
Well, I still have Anthony's credit card, so I'll be over at Smith and Walensky's over there.
The Amex. I was wondering why that was still coming in.
I'm going to Key West this weekend, this Friday, Saturday.
Ooh.
And I got a bunch of gigs. Just go to my website, Jim Norton.
Do you still enjoy going around touring?
Yeah, I'm doing it more now because, again, that's where the money is. Yeah. But I like that I can just go out and not worry about getting back for radio. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
I don't miss it at all. Like, I miss, again, the knowledge that the money's there. But I don't see any real life effect from it. Like, I don't miss waking up and walking in at all.
It's nice being able to pull the throttle back a little bit, do a little more of what you want to do.
Go do gigs, drive. You know what? Can we tack a Sunday or a Thursday onto that weekend?
Yeah.
And I'll just drive and take a nice leisurely, have another night in a hotel by myself. Tug.
Yeah, I was talking about how I went and got myself a job.
You did.
I was doing my podcast. I'm having fun. And then it was like, yeah, I'll do that. That sounds cool. And I'm having a great time. I love doing this.
Yeah.
And, but I'm like, yeah, I got a job. I went and got myself a goddamn job.
Yes, you did.
So, but I'm digging it. I like this. It's fun. The people here are really cool.
Yeah.
And the ability to do it, technology over the past few years.
It's crazy.
You used to have like equipment at your house that was insane.
Yeah.
ISDN lines. I'm not going to get into it, but it was very complicated. Now, what I have for my podcast is perfectly good for this. So I do that, and it just makes it easier. But I definitely appreciate the opportunity to get back on broadcast radio.
Yeah.
It's a little vindication thing there.
Sure.
A little bit.
It's fun.
Yeah. To be asked for such a piece of garbage as myself to return to FCC regulated airwaves.
It is, yeah.
You got a little bravery was there on the part of the management here.
Yeah.
It happens.
Either that or this is a springtime for Hitler situation where they assume this is going to
They're just hoping it bombs.
tank the whole company and you can use it as a write-off.
Jesus. So how long am I going till? 59:40? Oh, that's like a minute or something, too. Something like that. So E-Rock, you're well. What are you doing with yourself? You have a kid. I know that.
I have the kid. That takes up a lot of my time. I've got a bunch of freelance stuff, and I'm still doing my show for the iHeart Radio Network.
Yeah,
over there.
you're always
Where do you
in
take
it.
that?
I built my own studio.
Oh, okay.
When COVID hit, they just don't let anybody in the building anymore. So I just do it all from home.
That's what happened with, I was doing Bernie and Sid at the old ABC, and then COVID hit, and I just didn't hear from him anymore. And then Sid got mad at me, thinking I just blew him off. He started giving me some what have you. And now, we're the best of friends. Happy Passover, Sid.
I like this facility better. I can't believe they found such a great place. Like the other place was older, and this is just better.
Yes, and the host on Sunday night is better.
Lionel?
Me.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I don't know who they have last time before you.
I don't know.
Okay.
Probably Anthony Weiner or something. Okay. He was here for a while.
Was he really?
Yeah.
You're surrounded by people we caused problems for all over the place.
I know. It is funny. But Anthony. Once I realized they had him on, I'm like, I got to be a shoo-in. I'm not that bad.
Is he good on the radio?
I don't know.
He's a pretty smart guy.
I never listened to him.
Okay.
How smart can you be if you're texting children?
Well, look, as they say, the smartest people make questionable mistakes. Perhaps in that area, his intelligence was not great.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I got to tell you, just great. I've been looking forward to hanging out with you, and
Me too.
And so have the listeners and fans and social media. They love when we get to hang out.
I know it's great to not have anything to worry about in the morning, and not. When you're back, I'd love to do it again.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, I'm going to be back for a couple of minutes with where's my paper? With Dominic Carter. Jesus, and so stick around. Anthony Cumia Show.
This is New York's talk leader.